Hello out there, and welcome back to Table Talk, Discussion, and Discourse. I, as always, am your host, Alejo, aka Grade on 95.
I, as usually, am your second host, Aiden, aka SneakyAdolf, lore master of useless things and sipper of seltzer.
Mm. Um, Boo is not going to be here for a little while. He will be here, just wait a few hours. We'll see him in a few
He
hours.
he heard we were doing spooky things, and much like the coward that ghost is, he decided he had better places to be, like work.
Right, exactly. What a guy. So today, yes, we are doing more spooky kind of things because the spook times are here,
Mm,
everyone. They're
no,
among
not
us.
not till next month, but
That what when this goes up, they are here. They are
whenever.
among us.
They
Uh
they always were.
they always are. Yeah, it's true. Um so in a bit of a celebration. We're going to be covering some more spooky type things these next few episodes.
Spooky.
No, I don't know about that. Um,
No,
so,
no, notices your bulging carotid artery. Ooh, what's this?
well, mm, um, it's kind of a segue in a way because we're going to start by talking about Vampire the Masquerade, the tabletop game that preceded the hit video game series. Va-
Isn't it?
uh,
I'm
yeah,
not. I'm not doubting it preceded it, but the
Vampire
game
Vampire
kind of
the
falls apart at the seams.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is pretty widely liked.
Oh yeah, no, it's a good game,
Yeah.
but
Um, I
it
haven't
ain't
played
no
any other
shot.
ones because they consist of VNs, and some other more janky looking ones that are from older things. But I want to just to see, not the VN ones. Honestly, I can't get into that right now.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's not a true series until it has like multiple gotchas like Fate.
yeah, fair. But and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is supposed to come out next year now. It was
It
supposed to come out
is
this year. Unfortunately, it will not. But um so spooky times. Um
spooky.
so from my, I'll admit, more limited knowledge than I'd like because I honestly wanted to play Vampire for a while. Um it is a continuation of the World of Darkness, which is the setting, right? Where it's modern day and vampires and werewolves and mummies and all that kind of stuff exist, right? But
Mhm.
in present day, and they do their things in the shadows. Uh,
Which this is a bit of a tangent, but
mhm,
I've been watching some Vampire Masquerade gameplay
mhm,
of the video game, not of the TTRPG, because truth be told, outside of 5 minutes ago, I was not aware it was a TTRPG.
mhm,
Um, but boy, oh boy, is the entirety of the Masquerade like really bad. Like, oh my god, can you just like go around and do nearly whatever you want as a
mhm,
vampire in the Masquerade? It's like, yeah, no, it's fine. People
mhm,
won't find out. It's like, how stupid are these people?
mhm. Yep.
Oh yeah, I asked some guy for change the other day, and then I woke up 5 minutes later and I was super anemic. Oh hey, wow, me too. Oh hey, wow, me as well. Hey guys, did you know that over 15 gallons of blood have gone missing from this one blood bank in the
Mhm,
past
mhm.
3 months? Oh wow, ain't that a coinky
I
dink?
mean, yeah, obviously with the video game, it's a little more loose, I would say.
you can make literally anyone a thrall, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
just like the amount of stupid people it takes posting one message on social
Yep.
media
Yeah.
and the entirety of the masquerade being blown open because some stupid thrall who didn't know better.
Yeah. No. Yep. But uh.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
That.
suspension of disbelief, and
I.
then there's like Captain America holding the helicopter from taking off.
Hey. I mean, that's not as bad. um. Yeah. Let me actually. When did Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines release? Because that's actually a good
In a
question.
time before widespread
Yep, 2004.
social media and
2004.
telephones. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's why. I wonder if they'll do that in the new game. That'd be actually really interesting.
So Vampire the Masquerade, but it's more Watchdogs.
Uh, just at least acknowledges it and will like figure out a way to incorporate it in a good way. Because yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, Watch Dogs, it's fine, but I don't know. I don't know if I want more of it.
Debatable.
Anyway, so let us get to the video. Get in here, you son of a bitch.
Oh, right. Watch Together. That's a site we use.
That is a site we use frequently.
Hold on. Let me go to the TableTalk
So
Discord server.
this is Vampire the Masquerade 5e because there were 4 things before this or something. I don't remember. Not 4, sorry, 3, I think. And V5 feed upon the best vampire RPGs ever. RPG. I can't see the full title on this, but this is brought to us by Dave Thomavor. That is the name.
That's a vampire name in and of itself.
Right? So, let me just pull this over here. This was made... Oh, this was made in 2020. Hey. There we go. More recent. So,
does Vampire the Masquerade use, like, the D10 based system or something?
I think it uses D6s. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I see the entirety of the dice that are there on the thumbnail are all D10s.
Oh, I don't have the thumbnail for myself, so... but maybe. I know there's a dice pool. That is definitely a part of it. I honestly, I read, like, the first 2 pages of 3rd edition. So, I don't know much. I think it was 3rd edition. I don't know much, but I am excited to learn, and let us begin.
Let's add another RPG to add to my to-buy list.
Mm-hmm.
Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition, or V5, is an RPG published by White Wolf in 2018, set in the World of Darkness mega setting, and distributed by Modifius. It continues the long line of Vampire the Masquerade games that started in 1991 with Mark Rein-Hagen. The core book is 431 pages and contains everything needed to run a game. In fact, about a quarter of the book explains exactly how to run a game of Vampire. I'm going to try and brief you.
It seems to be a theme now that, or at least for things that aren't D&D, that they have a core rulebook that has all the rules in it.
Yeah,
which
something I heavily support.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was gonna say I really, really like that, and I hope that one day. I mean, no, D&D will never do it because they'll never do it.
Because money.
Yeah, and they know people will buy it, so.
Well, in fairness, though, the 5e core rulebook the player's handbook has literally all you need. The Dungeon Master's Guide isn't necessary.
Yeah, the only thing that I would say is it doesn't have monsters, really. It has...
neither does Pathfinder.
I thought it did. I thought it had a few monsters in it.
I am literally looking at my core rulebook right next to my bestiary.
Oh, well. Hush my mouth. Okay.
On everything that has happened with the game Vampire the Masquerade, but I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible because if you've already been following the saga over the years, it can be a bit redundant. I highly suggest the 2017 documentary World of Darkness, which is available on Amazon Prime Video.
You mean the 2018 documentary?
Yeah, it might have been released onto Amazon 2018.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
So here goes. In 1991, Mark Ryan Hagen flipped the script of the RPG world and allowed players to play as the monsters, specifically vampires. It was created under the fledgling company White Wolf and set in the wider so-called World of Darkness setting that would later include Werewolf, the Apocalypse, and Mage, the Ascension. The game exploded in popularity, and a subculture of vampire LARPing blossomed through the 1990s, but...
That's right. Yeah, so if anybody who's, like, even familiar with Vampire beforehand isn't familiar with the TTRPG itself, the LARPing was a big thing. Like, people really, like, I remember hearing stories from some videos about people that would go to these kind of conventions, or not these LARPing things, and, like, I remember one story in particular where this guy went and he saw this one other guy who's just standing on a car, and and he found out that the guy was using Obscuro or whatever it is, which is one of the vampire powers you can get, which makes you invisible as long as you stay in place. And he stood there for like 10 hours.
Jeez.
Or something ridiculous. But yeah, that I remember, that's just stuck into my mind. That reminds me of, hey, the LARP was a thing, and also some people took it really seriously. Just like any kind of LARP thing, I guess.
I was gonna say, like most LARP.
Which is cool.
There is sort of a base entry level of like, how seriously am I going to take this hobby?
Yeah.
And when you reach the level of dressing up and going out to meet things, that is already like a devotion floor that is higher than most other hobbies' devotion ceilings.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And like, man,
like, hey, more power to them. Like,
yeah. Oh no, I
have
want
fun
to
and do it.
Yeah,
Just don't do it now because you should be isolated.
Yes, please isolate yourself. Oh my god. But, you know, I do want to try LARPing at some point when I'm, you know, later on, just because it would be fun. I don't know. Be neat.
As sales began to decline, White Wolf released an edition in 2004 called Vampire Requiem, which didn't resurrect early successes. Also around this time, they sued an international vampire fan club called Camarilla for infringement, as well as Sony for Underworld, which made them look bad. Then in 2006, White Wolf sold itself to CCP, the creators of EVE Online. CCP promised fans a Vampire MMO. It even released a much celebrated 20th anniversary edition of Vampire in 2011, referred to as V20. But when CCP's EVE business began to dip, they canceled the MMO entirely. Then in 2015, Paradox Interactive, makers of a bunch of decent PC games you've probably never heard of, bought all the rights, reformed White Wolf as a business entity, and put out this 5th edition 3 years later in 2018. I picked up this book and sank my teeth in without any bias against the edition or residual anger from its pre-release controversy, and just read it as an RPG. What I found within the four corners of this book is what I'm going to share with you in this video.
I would hope so, sir. That's kind of the point of the video, but please.
Our world is set in the umbrella setting called World of Darkness, which encompasses all manner of dark and gothic monsters like vamps, werewolves, ghosts, ghouls, and the like, but you will only barely get a glimpse of anything other than vampires in this book. The world of Vampire is our own world, the modern day, but with a secret history of vampires, or kindred, going all the way back to the dawn of human civilization. As the kindred lore puts it, there was Adam and Eve, and then there was Cain and Abel, and Cain begat 3 children who then had 13 children, or childer, rather. And as Cain's punishment for killing his brother, God cursed these 13 childer with vampirism. Each of these 13 then gave rise to a different clan of vampires.
So, before we go too far, there's actually somebody who corrected some of this in the comments that I found. He says, for this time code, no. And this is from Nerdbert in the comments section of this video. He says, no, Cain was cursed by God with eternal life in darkness. Cain learned how to embrace others and inflict the curse upon them to not suffer the loneliness. The second generation of vampires had 13 childer, which slaughtered their sires eventually and were cursed by Cain with their clan bearers, banes. So that's the little.
Yeah, but why call them childer?
I don't know. They have some stranger terminology, but I guess that just adds to the uniqueness. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. See, kindred makes sense because
Yep.
it is a word. Childer.
Mhm.
I mean, I could be wrong, but let's see. Childer. Chiefly dialectal plural of child. Huh, so it's like children.
Oh, okay. So it's an older.
Weird.
It's from Ireland.
All right, you know what? I redact my point. That's pretty cool.
That is neat. Yeah. Bring it back. Bring old words. Bring them back.
Naturally, they fought against each other and against humans for centuries, and established a code of conduct that included the number one rule: hide thyself from mortals. This code was known as the Masquerade. Now let me fast forward to the present day, as presented in this book. There are now 16 generations of kindred, and interestingly, the 1st through 9th generations are not playable out of this core rulebook. As far as clans, only 7 of the 13 are still viable and thus available for players. The clans all fall into one sect or another, or they're independent. 2 sects come up a lot in this book, and they are the Camarilla and the Anarchs.
So before we go far again, a second correction. Clans, and this is, again, I have no authority on this, so I don't know, but I'm going to trust this person who wrote this comment because they seem well informed. Please do correct my correction with his correction in the comments below if this is wrong. Says, quote, clans don't fall into sects. There are clans and sects. Clans are determined by your blood, sects by your socio-political standing. Each clan can theoretically be present in any sect, yet there are preferences, stereotypes, and resentments that result in a preference and a nominal membership in the Camarilla.
Okay, so it's more or less a guild.
Yes, in a way.
With
Generally speaking,
bad blood between the two of them.
Ooh, aye.
Camarilla tries to uphold the Masquerade and continue to assert dominance over humans and other kindred from the shadows.
Oh.
While the Anarchs want to both destroy the Camarilla and openly rule over mortals. There is also the Sabbat floating around that also opposes Camarilla ideology.
Yeah.
Okay,
As far as clans you can't play...
Yeah, because the Sabbat is the clan that attacks you, or that attacks the meeting in Bloodlines.
Yep. Yeah.
I would have figured they'd be part of the Anarchs, but
I mean, you're always gonna have fringe groups and shit.
You have the wild card.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. It's just like, hey, let's have the thing that both of us can go against because they're just not like either of us.
Sombra and Zemisi have fallen to the Sabbat, Giovanni and Ravnos driven nearly to extinction, and the Banu Hakim and Setite ministry have fallen into a limbo of war and were independent anyways.
Okay, so final correction from this man. Lazombra joined the Camarilla, Chicago by night. Zimish? I don't remember. Zemisi are not yet discussed, but will most likely focus around a faction called the Old Clan Zemisi in the future. Giovanni are not extinct. They are independent and formed the Hecata with the remnants of other necromantic bloodlines. Ravnos and Salubri are nearly extinct. Banu Hakim and the Ashira join the ranks of the Camarilla and Ministry Setites, and rebranding. And are rebranding, and were rejected by the Camarilla and joined the ranks of the Anarchs. So there you go, I guess.
That's weird that the Camarilla would just ban a whole branch.
Yeah, there's probably some history behind that. That
Oh, I'm sure there is. It's
Yeah.
like speculating at 40k lore, knowing nothing about it.
Yeah, exactly. Very
Uh,
very true.
Yeah, it's really weird that the humans wouldn't like the demi-humans. I mean, they're humans after all. It's like,
Well,
not not in the eyes of the Imperium.
yeah.
Anarchs contain 2 playable clans, Bruja, countercultural, progressive, systemic anarchists, and Gangrel, feral outcasts, wanderers, and hunters. And that leaves 5 clans under the sect of Camarilla: the Malkavians, deranged visionaries, oracles, and seers; Nosferatu, malformed and hideous spies and bottom dwellers, but usually with hearts of gold; the Toreador, sensualists, hedonists, and self-absorbed twisted artists; the Tremere, arcane outcasts, witches, and warlocks; and the Vintru, the leader caste, patricians of old lineage. Then there are the Caitiff, which are kindred without a clan, generally speaking. Each of these playable clans comes with 3 disciplines or types of vampiric power, and 1 bane, or core gameplay disadvantage. I thought a really cool feature of this book was the option of players to get a so-called lore sheet at player creation. There are 25 of these, some of which are limited to certain clans. They each contain a snippet of setting lore and offer 5 levels of advantage to a player. These sheets really embody how the vampire setting and history is infused with actual game mechanics.
I want to go back and see what that lore
Yeah,
sheet said.
I thought he was gonna go into it a little more.
Current,
So, you have oral history, ravenous remains. I was there. The Red Star and blood of. Don't know what bloodline this is for, but oh, okay. So the first one makes it so that you can add dice to your dice pool to tell a story for tests, in order to relate some sort of history.
Dice performance, dice pools. You have 3 dots of mala.
Yeah.
So the little gameplay advantages.
Yeah, just to give you that little additional thing for your background, I guess. I assume this is the equivalent of a background in a way, or something. Not really sure, but seems it. Which is, and the fact that it like gives you advantages. I don't know if he said how you can get the better stuff, or if that's just like
Yeah.
I would like to know that, but maybe you'll say it later.
Also, as I recall, a snippet I'd heard about vampire lore was that the lower number generation you are, the more powerful you are.
Yeah. If you're like first generation, you are literally the one, and then like second, it gets dilutes every generation.
Yeah. But there's also like I think certain benefits that because like your strengths are lessened, but so are your weaknesses, I think.
That would make sense. Yeah.
I think there's also like some generations that get like nothing in terms of strengths, but all they have are weaknesses.
Well, it might be, and again, I'm pulling from the game. Thin Bloods are were a thing. It might be that because they're not technically pure enough to gain all that stuff. I think maybe, I don't know. Again, speculation just from what I've played more so than played in this. So I don't know.
How the vampire setting and history is infused with actual game mechanics. The beating heart of the mechanics in Vampire is the D10 dice pool.
Okay.
Almost everything about your character, the core attributes, skills, disciplines, and advantages and flaws are all rated 0 to 5, and those represent the number of D10s you can throw on a check involving that item. If the roll comes up a 1 through 5, that is a failure. If the roll is a 6 through 10, that is a success. If you happen to get 2 10s on a single throw...
Hold on, I want to see. 10 success. Each pair. Potential critical win. Each pair is worth 4 successes.
Right. So
Okay.
so they So they double the pairs. That's weird.
So if you only have like 1d10 that you can roll on something, you're like there's a 50% chance of failure,
Right, yeah.
but you can succeed.
Yeah. But you'll never get a crit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That
And
seems
then,
fair
like,
enough.
if you have like 3 or 4 as your rating, then
Yeah, you have
you're
the
most
potential.
likely going to succeed.
Yeah.
That is counted as a critical success, which generates 2 extra successes for that check. The number of successes you need to win a test depends on the situation,
Right,
but generally ranges from 1 success for something dead simple to 7 or more successes for something godlike.
That makes sense,
If
yeah.
you throw more successes than what is called for, this additional margin of success can count towards damage in combat or an advantage in other contests. When you take damage, it is either health points or it is damage to one's willpower pool. Furthermore, it can either be superficial damage or aggravated damage.
Yeah.
Superficial damage to a vampire counts kind of like a half point of damage and is something like a bullet wound, a stab with metal, being hit with a car, or anything less severe. Aggravated damage for a vampire includes sunlight, a bite or claw from a supernatural entity, a wooden stake to the heart, fire, and a few other things.
Okay.
Once your kindred character loses enough health points, they enter what is called a torpor, or sleep state that renders them completely vulnerable to further damage and can lead to final death. Recovering health and willpower points naturally is relatively slow and difficult. Recovering them quickly risks taking on hunger.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
So you can like funnel in some of your blood to heal you. That's cool.
Yeah, and that's actually a thing that that is represented in the game as well, because you have that blood pool that you have to use for things, for your powers.
Yeah, but as I recall, doesn't that blood pool like automatically refill superficial health?
If you have high enough, yes, it can. In the game,
Okay.
yes. But there's also a skill called Blood Heal.
I do know there is. Okay, I do know there is also one difference that they've already touched on between a snippet of lore I heard about in the game, and that's, I think, Jack was the name of the guy. He says that a stake in the heart won't kill a vampire; it only paralyzes them.
Yeah. And I assume
they say that that's now aggravated damage, which I mean, to me makes a bit more sense.
I feel like it might still be aggravated damage, but it might also paralyze. You know what? Stake.
Or maybe like it instantly puts you in torpor but cannot outright kill or something.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't imagine. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Come on, Reddit, open up. There you go. A kindred in this is in V20, so this might be out of date, but from V20, page 280. A kindred impaled through the heart with a wooden stake is not destroyed but merely paralyzed until the stake is removed. To stake a vampire, an attacker must target the heart, difficulty 9. If the attack succeeds and inflicts at least 3 health levels of damage, the target is immobilized. An immobilized victim is conscious and may use perception powers such as those in the Auspex discipline, but may not move or spend blood points.
Okay.
Yeah, so might be out of date, but at least we have more of an idea.
The mechanics get a little more complicated with hunger dice. There is a point pool with 5 slots at the bottom of the character sheet called hunger. There are a number of ways to pick up hunger points, including using a discipline, mending damage, and even the act of waking up for the night. But hunger points are bad for you, and here's why. There are a few exceptions, but for every hunger point, when you have to roll a pool of dice, you replace 1 die with a hunger die for each hunger point that you have. The hunger dice act as regular dice for the most part, except if a hunger die comes up as a 1 and you happen to fail the whole roll, you have earned a bestial failure, which leads to a compulsion. Compulsion examples in the book include needing to feed immediately, lashing out in uncontrollable violence, or behaving in a bad way that is particular to your clan. Hunger dice will punish you even if you succeed. If a hunger die comes up at 10 and there is at least one other 10 in the pool that you just threw, this is a messy critical, which leads to something materially bad, like a stated advantage being degraded by a point, or revealing oneself to humans and violating the Masquerade.
Oh, okay. I like the idea because I think there's also the Star Wars RPG that I've seen a little bit of play from, where they also have dice that are failure dice that you can put in because of certain aspects, and I like the idea of balancing your good dice with bad dice and vice versa, just to represent that it's not always going to be super easy all the time, and instead of, you don't have to worry about a modifier as much, you just have to worry about the die,
I'm also curious, like, how many hunger points are removed by feeding? Is it one or all?
Yeah, it might be like a certain, he might go into it, but it might be a certain like amount of blood that you get that removes all of it, or certain quarts of it. I don't know.
Or like higher quality blood
Mm-hmm.
will like satisfy more points.
Yeah, that would be neat.
As a normal kindred, you start with 7 out of 10 humanity points, and you can gain these through compassionate behavior or lose them by answering to the call of your inner beast. Humanity represents how close a vampire is to their human life, to specific people who draw them to life, and to human concerns generally. The book goes into detail on what each of the 10 levels of humanity entail from a game mechanics perspective. Of the mechanics that I described so far, it doesn't seem that complicated, but the book does go on to describe more and more rules of the road for being a vampire. There's a lot of detail on blood potency, which is how strong your vampiric powers are. It is very involved, and is one of the few places in the book where the designers could not avoid a big table. Then there is blood resonance, where kindred actually pick up one of 4 kinds of mystic energies from their blood victim. These are necessary for advancing disciplines and can lead to dyscrasias, or distinct powers all their own.
Oh.
Then there are rules about what happened to you if you drink other vampires, and ways to create blood bonds with others. Is it too much? This game is not crunchy, but there are a lot of rules related to blood consumption.
Dude, okay, if there's one thing I want in a vampire game, that's a lot of things about blood. That's like the thing, right?
That, if I would consider that, if nothing else, nigh required.
Yeah, so like I'm glad they have all of this shit, because like I have so many questions about blood, right? Because you think about it and it's like if I drink from a rat, it's not going to be the same thing as if I drink from the upper echelon, right? Like there's got to be something there.
Maximum non-harmful drink from human, time 1 scene.
Ooh.
Oh, hunger slaked 2. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go. Okay.
Human drained and killed. Hunger
5.
slaked 5. Time 5 turns. Only way to reach hunger 0. So you'll always have at least 1 blood point, unless you killing a human every day.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Neat.
And then that's pretty much like you have to wake up and kill them in order to gain the full benefits for that night.
Right. Yeah.
There are 9 core attributes divided into 3 categories of physical, social, and mental. You get to distribute 22 dots amongst these attributes after a fashion. Then there are 27 skill categories, with any kind of fill-in-the-blank subspecialty you can think of. At the start, you get 24 dots to distribute amongst these skills, with some restrictions. Disciplines are categories of supernatural vampiric powers, of which there are 12. They all have different costs, and each are...
Okay, yeah, I want to look at these, actually. So, animalism, you communicate and control of vertebrate animals. Has to be vertebrate. I like it.
And there is also, I saw earlier when it was like drinking from an animal gave, I think it was a bonus to that.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Aspects, mental awareness, surroundings, the truth, and others' thoughts. So you're more empathic, I guess.
Intuitive.
Intuitive as well, yeah. Celerity, enhanced speed and agility. Dominate, manipulation and control of humanoid minds. Fortitude, physical and mental resistance and defense. Obfuscate, that's the one. Illusions of invisibility and disguise. Potence, enhances feats of brute strength offense. Presence, direct manipulation of others' emotions. Protean, shape-shifting. Oh, dude.
Mhm.
Blood sorcery.
Druid vampire.
Oh, dude, you don't. Oh, I want to. Blood sorcery, manipulation of blood for offensive purposes, rituals, 27 listed, wide variety of effects, witchcraft-like requirements, and thin blood alchemy, variety of effects, blood alchemical process required. Dude, like,
there's a lot of options there for how you want to play a character.
I know, and that makes me so excited. Cause, dude, I was talking.
I want celerity and protean.
Yeah.
A couple rituals and some thin blood alchemy.
Like, obviously, it's
animalism.
hard. It's hard to get it all because experience is one of those things that gives you those dots, I assume, or whatever, or the points to get those dots, and it costs more and more for each. So you could get them all. It's just that, you know, some might be not as good as others. But man, like I
literally desire only to be a trash vampire with an army of raccoons.
God.
This is all I want in life.
I love this idea in your unlife, excuse you.
Like, screw bats, man. Like, they don't have opposable thumbs.
Dude, like, oh man, that's so fucking cool. I'm so I want to play vampires so bad.
Sorted into 5 levels of power. So, for example, Protean is the discipline of shapeshifting.
Yes.
And is initially available to members of the.
Okay, no, this is important. Eyes of the Beast. You get red eyes, conferring night vision and intimidation. Ooh, weight of the feather, immunity to fall damage. Oh my god! Change into an animal of similar size to one's humanoid form. Metamorphosis change into an animal of any size.
Yeah,
Transform
raccoon,
into mist.
Raccoon vampire.
The unfettered heart insides become gooey, harder to get staked. Hell yeah. Oh man, that's so cool.
I mean, mist form is cool, especially if you're gonna like sneak under a door or something.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. Well,
but like,
I wonder if they still have the you need to be invited in or not thing. That'd be interesting.
I don't think so, because like at the very least in the video game you can go wherever you want, so long as you
well,
can go
in the game itself, you're going to public places.
No, there's some private apartments.
There is. That's true. There are some private apartments that you can lockpick into. You're right, or any of that kind of stuff. So I don't know, honestly. Yeah, it might not have that, which would be interesting. Kind of taking that bit of vampire lore away.
So it does beg the question though.
Mm-hmm.
Apartment complexes, right?
Yes.
A lot of people live there.
A lot of people.
So if you're a vampire, right? Because like all of the places in an apartment complex are technically part of the same building.
It is true, yes.
So then if like a doorman or something buzzes you in, does that give you free reign on every single apartment?
That's a good question, because like, could one argue that each abode is somebody's personal space?
Yes, exactly. Is it based per domicile or per building?
Or is it just per person? Like, is it just the person's desire, if that is their place?
Yeah.
Is that some magical conveyance of like, now I have to be invited in there? Whereas you could just be let into the main building, right?
Yeah, but like if you buzz an apartment complex and it's like, hey dude, I forgot my key. I'm apartment 23. I'm friends with so and so.
True.
And the doorman goes, oh yeah, sure, and buzzes you in. Like,
gives you the key.
I would say that counts as an invitation if
Oh,
they're like
yes.
letting you in.
Oh,
And
absolutely,
as
yes.
such, like if I initially was going to go attack, say, Kramer, can I also attack Jerry and Newman?
Maybe. Oh man, I don't know. I don't know if
Just drain an apartment dry.
right? Like, could you? Oh man, I hope there's actual rules for that in the actual book, because I would love to see how if that's even mentioned, right? Because it could get super complicated.
I would also hope that there are rules for like abducting people. Because
Okay.
like if you're waking up, then that's a hunger point. And I don't know about you, but it would seem to me that we're going to be spending most of the time, if you're playing Vampire the Masquerade, at night,
Yes.
which means every single day you wake up, you're taking another point of damage, which then makes that night mathematically worse. So the best way to counteract that is wake up and immediately feed. As such, can you like go there, like eat Kramer, and then abduct Jerry and bring him back to your place, and then wake up, eat Jerry, and then go about your business.
So I feel it. I don't know.
That seems to be what the presence skill would probably do.
Oh, dominate. Dominate allows you to or that whole tree, I suppose, is
Mm.
like for actually manipulating people to be with you in a way.
Yeah. So like, excuse me while I just have you bound up real quick.
Right.
I hope this lasts another like 10 hours while I sleep.
Right. Exactly. I mean, so the thing is, though, if you, and you're talking about draining somebody dry, right? Killing them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you do that too much, though, you lose your humanity to a point where you become bestial. That's the thing.
That's true.
Yeah, you become the bat creature thing instead of being a regular vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, you're more of a Vargeist at that point.
Yes, yeah, that, yeah.
Though, I mean,
It's pretty cool, but
I just need 1 point. Like, I'll like once a week, I'll like donate some money to the kiddies or something. I don't know, man. Sponsor some kid in Africa.
yeah, it definitely has to, like, I would like to see the how you gain humanity if it's too vague, because if it's too vague, then I'd be like, well, you could abuse it if you're whatever the dungeon master is called, your game master, like, if he doesn't pay attention, he might go, yeah, you're fine. But
Mhm.
if you're just doing that and it becomes so routine that it's no longer like affecting you as a person, I wouldn't say that it
Yeah.
gives you humanity, right?
Yeah, well, I would also say that the loss of each point of humanity, and like granted we're already going off of the rules and like making like new house rules, but
Yep.
um much like how in Call of Cthulhu,
Yes.
you can see like say a ghoul and you'll be
Yes.
terrified and you'll lose sanity of it.
Right.
But if you
Yes.
see that ghoul again, you won't be like as affected as poorly by it
Yep.
because you've already seen it. You've sort of like crossed that barrier.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you can lose 3 or 4 points to killing people on occasion, but so long as you're not like killing someone every single night, then like, eh, it's like I kill a person once a month
I mean,
for
that's the thing, though. Uh, well, yeah. If you do it very sparingly, you'll just lose one every time you do it, right?
yeah,
That's just
that's
how it
true.
is. And like, it's to keep you from doing that because you'll just continue to spiral down into losing it. So I don't know. I imagine the way that it is, it's fine, and I imagine the way that we would play it, we wouldn't violate that too much, you
Mhm.
know, because
I
yeah,
do know one of the things that gives you a humanity point, at least in the video game,
right,
is there's a thrall who got like injured real bad,
yes, yep,
and you
give him,
go and you steal some morphine
yep,
for him, and it's like he would absolutely live with or without the morphine. You're just choosing to take a bit of compassion on him.
yes, yeah, it's the act of the compassion that's what's important there.
So like that's not a huge threshold. Like
Yeah.
breaking into a hospital and stealing morphine for a regular person, yeah, that's a pretty big act. But
Yeah.
like for a vampire, that's much more easily manageable. And as such, I would say getting humanity points probably is not that hard. Granted, of course, your mileage may vary DM to DM.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to read into it more and just see, because for the actual system, but for the game at least, it was like that, and so I can understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
Clan Gangrel. It contains the following powers. The earlier powers in any of these disciplines typically don't have a cost, but the more powerful ones require harder skill checks and one or more rouse checks, or high-low dice throws to see if you pick up a hunger point or not. The game's authors try to go full throttle on both sides of the spectrum here. On one hand, as we've seen, they've provided a full-fledged dice-rolling RPG with dozens of dice-modifying rules, but on the other hand, they stress over and over how much the story at the table matters more. There are many fiction-first features, including the fact that it's not a game master who leads a session, it's a storyteller.
Oh.
And it's not a non-player character, but a storyteller player character.
Okay. All right. We're getting a little. I
Alright.
get it.
We're starting to reach the point where we're calling sauerkraut Liberty Cabbage.
Exactly. Like, I get it. I get what you're saying. Like, I understand, and that's the. I'm just gonna call you a player.
Yeah, dude.
I'm just gonna call you a player. You can call me either a storyteller or a game master or a DM. I don't care at this point. You know, it's all the same.
It's sort of like how GM is the accepted general term,
Yes.
whereas DM is specifically for D&D.
Yeah.
But it's
usually,
like, dude, Pathfinder, Fate, like I don't care. You're the DM.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we can build a story and stuff without you calling me storyteller.
Yeah.
Can I do this?
Oh, in Call of Cthulhu, we are investigators. And then, what's the DM called in that?
A keeper.
Like the keeper.
Right.
Ugh. That one's I think
It's
the
fine.
worst.
I know. I think that one's fine. I don't know. maybe I'm more for. I don't know.
They keep their secrets.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, dude.
It's all kind of yeah.
There's no need to romanticize it.
With Game Master, I'm fine because it makes sense for every game. You're literally the master of it. With Dungeon Master,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you're the creator of the dungeon, I guess. That's why it's even that itself. That's why I just don't call people Dungeon Masters usually. I'll try to just go DM. Because it's just like, I haven't played things with a dungeon for a long while, actually. But, yeah, I don't know.
Many features in the background aspects of the character that have little or no mechanical.
Oh, okay, hold on. Touchstone. You're surviving human spouse. Cool. Human child. Or descendant of a family line. That'd be cool.
Ooh.
A human who looks exactly like someone you loved in life. All right, we've got Strahd's plot hook in there.
Of course, dude. There's always going to be. It was Strahd's.
There's always
it was
looks identical.
Yeah.
It was
Fuck.
Dracula's
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the Netflix fucking thing.
No, he was just angry because they killed his wife. Just in general.
Oh no, not that Dracula Netflix thing. I'm talking the one. Yeah, I'm not talking Castlevania.
Gotcha.
There was a lot. There is a live action one with a woman who was the descendant of some nun, who looked like exactly like her great grandmother and inherited her spirit.
Oh my god! Wait, are you talking about Dracula Untold?
Maybe there is a
where they fight him as an army by blindfolding themselves.
What? No.
Okay. Oh, we need to watch that, dude. It's so bad.
Yeah, we do.
It's so fucking bad.
Oh my god. That sounds.
Oh, that's one of the things. Oh, it's part of the Dooku,
what?
dude. It's part of the dark universe, cinematic universe thing. Oh
my god, that sounds wonderfully bad.
Oh, we're doing a movie night at some point, dude. I swear
Yeah,
to
we
God. Oh, anyway, sorry.
We need to get Boo and Brogan in this too.
Oh yeah. It's like I was shown it by my ex, and she was like, "I like this movie." I'm like, I like it too. I like it too. No, but seriously, it's fucking. Oh, it's so dumb.
Oh my god, Dracula Untold. You said it was called?
Yeah, Dracula Untold. Oh, people. Oh, if you're out there and you've watched this movie and you know, oh my god, you know.
Oh, I've seen clips of this.
Dude, it's turning into a bunch of bats that hit a bunch of people away, and I'm like, what the fuck is bats? That doesn't make any sense. Sorry.
Dude. Oh, yeah.
Such a fucking, it's a romp. Let me tell you that much. It's a romp. Anyway.
Oh, I need to see this.
Are you looking at clips of it?
I'm looking at like Google Images.
The
legend is born.
It's Yeah. Anyway, so that's vampires.
Hellfire engines.
Vampires. Anyway, so this Touchstone. Let's keep going here.
Bearing on the
No,
game.
no, hold on, no.
Okay, all right.
I need to,
Please.
I need to send you this.
Okay, please send it to me.
Put it here in the call. There you go.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
Those literally look like warp fire throwers from Warhammer 2.
Yeah, it's oh god, why? Oh, what was this? Fuck me. Wait, this is concept art. I don't even remember if this was in the fucking thing. I don't know, honestly. Yeah, it's been a few months, dude. I don't remember. Quite a few months since I watched it. Anyway,
I need to find the name of the story about like the woman who inherited like her great grandmother's spirit or something.
yeah, please. That sounds really strange. There's a lot of I was complaining about this to another group of friends of like, I want to play a vampire game, and what I really want to do is play Bloodlines 2 because I'm excited for that because it'll be hopefully the vampire game that I want because I liked Bloodlines 1 and I never finished Bloodlines 1, which I'm trying to go through again, but like there aren't many good vampire games or things like that. And
go on.
The media for vampires is lacking, I would say. I wouldn't say lacking. I guess it's in more recent times it's been lacking because like some of the older stuff with like Christopher Lee, like as Dracula and shit. I think he was Dracula. Like there was a lot of fun like Dracula things that were I think Peter Cushing was like Van Helsing as well. What was this?
It's
Collider. Oh no.
It is just called Dracula.
Okay.
It is yet another gift that 2020 has given us.
No way.
As it premiered on January 1st, and it's a 3-part series that aired on January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Oh no, it was co-created by Stephen Moffat. Uh-oh. Okay.
I will say, having watched it, episode 1 is good. Episode 2 is pretty decent. Not the best, but like alright.
Uh-huh.
And episode 3, boy, that goes downhill. Oh! Would you like to know how it ends?
Yes, please. If you are at all, if you want any of this not to be spoiled, please take a 5-minute break there. Yeah, please.
Oh, dude, it'll be like a 30-second break.
Okay, but still, yeah.
So spoilers following. Dracula kills himself by drinking a cancer patient's blood.
What?
It's poison to him. And the descendant of the nun he always wanted to kill and eat, and who he successfully did kill and eat,
Oh.
has cancer. And Dracula finds out he's not like weak to the sun or anything like that. He just always thought he was, and that
What?
the real thing that kills him is that he drinks cancer person's blood.
Why?
I don't know. Welcome back, everyone.
Oh my god. I love the I don't know. Anyway. Oh jeez. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch it. Oh, god.
It's also like episode 1 is set in like the 1400s.
Okay, sure.
Episode 2 is also set in like I think like 10 years later.
Oh, okay.
And then episode 3 takes place in like 2010.
What a jump! I mean, you can do that if you do it right, but okay.
For the first like 10 minutes, it's pretty good. And then you go, eh. And then you go, eh. And then concern starts to rise.
Okay, alright, yeah.
And then it reaches a critical point where you just no longer care.
That's great.
I watched all 3 episodes in one sitting.
How long are each of the episodes?
Hour and a half. Then like the final one is like I think 2 hours.
Oh my god.
I started it at like 7:30, and by the time I finished, it was like 5 a.m.
It enraptured you that much?
So, for the first episode and a half, yes, because it was really good.
Fair, yeah.
For the latter half, because I wanted to see how it ended.
I understand.
For the third episode, because like the final 5 minutes of episode 2 are like in 2010, and you're like, I understand how this jump happened.
Right, yeah, okay, good.
And I'm curious to see how like he adapts to modern society.
Gotcha, yeah.
And
that makes sense.
then like the first like 10-15 minutes of it are like pretty cool, as like he like traps someone in a fridge and like eats them, and like they start to turn into like a ghoul and like are slowly escaping out of the fridge while he's talking to the guy's wife.
That's cool.
And it's like, all right, yeah, sure. Like seeing people from the Middle Ages like being thrown into modern day technology has always been like, for me, something I've always found kind of intriguing.
Yeah. It's the man at a time thing.
As a thought experiment.
Yeah.
And seeing then as he becomes sort of like a pop star.
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch it now. That's a sentence. That's a statement there.
Well, not really pop, but like a person who was, I guess, a celebrity, I guess would be just the term.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Okay. I can see that, at least.
With a PR team.
Okay, yeah.
Do you see where this is going?
I don't want to, but I kind of do.
Boy, I didn't either. There comes a point where like you're like, I think I want to see how this goes. Like reaches a critical point with I don't care anymore, and then it's I'm too tired to move from my chair. Let's just see how this plays out because it is a moving pictures in front of me.
Okay,
and then it ends, and you just kind of start screaming to yourself.
So anyway,
yeah, give it a watch.
Yeah,
while you're at it, watch Hangar 10.
Don't watch Hangar 10. Oh my god, please.
Please don't.
Please don't watch that. Anyway, let's end this one.
but are actually very important for a session if run in the spirit of the creator's original intent. One of my favorite of the softer details that players are asked to choose at the start are their coterie, or small group that the gaming party belongs to.
Blood Cult, Cerberus, Champions, Commandos, Daywatch, Fang Gang, I love that. Hunting Party, Markali?
Oh, captures humans with particular blood resonances for others.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, cool. Wait, which one is that one? Oh, that one's Fang Gang?
Party.
Oh, no, Hunting Party. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just reading them all.
Nomads.
The guards, the lords of the city.
Pulmaries.
I don't. Pulmaris.
Yeah, K-Star? Regency, I can't read the Subiri? I don't know. Watchmen.
This went from very easy to read to less so.
I assume it's using like oh god, what, like the vampires were a European thing, and so I assume this is one of the, like, maybe Latin, supposed to be somewhat Latin.
That's not any Latin I've ever seen.
No, I know. I'm just saying it's like some sort of Latin-esque.
I think it's like High Gothic.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like. Anyway, no, those are cool. I like this. This is neat.
I think these are so intriguing because they bring together a party.
Oh, okay. Hunting Party. There you go. The some coterie? I don't know. Specializes in hunting and capturing humans with particular qualities of the blood, with knowledge of and tastes for humors and resonances spreading among thin blood cookers and Toreador gourmands alike. On the make, often choose to become on the prowl for others. Okay. Possible extras.
Blood broker.
Influence. Okay. Alright, neat.
Thematically right out of the gate and inform the storyteller on narrative direction, at least at the beginning of a campaign.
Coderix. That's the word.
Or chronicle. Of course, a group's coterie doesn't lock them
coterie.
into
That's the actual word.
mode of behavior across an entire chronicle. There's not enough time in this video to cover the quarter of this book that deals with...
Okay, let me just stop you right there, man. There's
always time.
There's plenty of time. You just have limited yourself to this. I understand. You need to fit that algorithm by not being 20 minutes, but you could take some time to do it. I don't...
Does he have a video which is a how to run?
Oh, probably. I don't know. Let me check. Go to channel. Go to...
Although you've mentioned that before, your pet peeve of people saying there's not enough time in this video.
I have, because there's... I mean, I'm not going to stop.
I think it was Dungeon Dudes, wasn't it?
Maybe. I don't remember. Let's see. Vampire storytelling. Let's see if that brings up something. Nope. Okay.
Not enough time in the world.
Nope. Okay, when I put just storytelling, it comes up with this video. Oh, okay. So I guess you really just didn't have that much time. Where did it go? He's got one for Age of Sigmar. That's interesting. Anyway.
The tools for the storyteller. These sections include advanced game mechanics such as extended tests.
Yo, is that a vampire hunter with a grenade launcher I see?
Yeah, I think so. Well, yeah, I think so actually.
That's pretty cool.
It shoots out a grenade that splashes you with holy water. Yeah. Or blessed shrapnel, you know.
I was thinking of the the acid rounds in for the grenade launchers in like classic Resident Evil, how it always like splashed out, and I was thinking of like holy water.
Yep.
Alternatively, like holy oil, and then secondly, load up like an incendiary round.
Yep.
Oh, yo, hold up. Double-barreled shotgun,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
One barrel fires like holy oil,
Right.
like a
Yes.
holy oil round,
The other's a dragon fire.
and the other is a dragon's breath round.
Yeah. Dragon's breath. That's it. Yeah. No. Absolutely. That. Yes. Give him a nice taste.
Alternative ways to run conflicts, setting information, and a lot of talk about how to run a whole vampire chronicle with different overarching themes. I do appreciate all of this additional information. You can tell from all of it that the authors take the franchise seriously.
Sorry, I just looked at that post.
Wait with it.
It's just yeah, current year. Yeah.
Why would you say something so brave yet so controversial?
And want to welcome fledgling storytellers as warmly as possible with all of the advice that they could possibly need.
Yo, that's some sick art though.
So here are my thoughts. Cons. The book oscillates wildly between claiming to be fiction first, but also providing a tremendous amount of mechanical minutia.
I mean, you need both. So.
And there's a thing such called like rule of cool. Like
yeah, you can honestly pick and choose what you need.
You can be rules heavy and still be story first.
Yeah, it's not like they're mutually exclusive, but okay.
It's not exactly crunch, but there are countless little rules and rule exceptions listed, even as the book at one point literally says that the number one rule is that there are no rules.
Yeah, but you know what? That's a stupid rule, okay?
Literally, that's also the foreword of every single like player's handbook ever.
Exactly. Like that means nothing anymore. We all understand. Like, well, okay, sorry. Apparently, not all of us understand because some people really need it explained out to them
multiple times.
It's unfortunate, but it is true. So I guess fair enough there. But what I'll say is you don't need it to be explained every time because you can just go, I like this. I'm going to use this. I'm not going to use this because I don't like it. And then you go, hey, group, I'm going to use this and I'm not going to use this because I don't like it. Are we cool with that? And they go, yeah. Or they go, no. And then you go, okay. And then you figure it out. Like, it's not...
Hey, look at that. The Dungeon Master's Guide from 3.5. Final note. The power of creating worlds, controlling the deities and dragons, and leading entire nations is in your hands. You are the master of the game. The rules, the setting, the action, and ultimately the fun. This is a great deal of power. You must use it wisely. This book shows you how. Okay, let's look at the Pathfinder 2e core rulebook, because I know I've already read out the foreword in 5e multiple times on this podcast, and people don't need to hear that. But let's see. The game master in charge of create new responsibilities. Social contract, yada yada. Who cares about the social contract? Tools of play. It actually does. I could be just because I'm skimming, but I'm not actually seeing the whole like ignore the rules if you have to yet.
I feel like it doesn't need to be stated. I didn't like.
Yeah, I mean, it does say being the GM is a challenge requiring you to adjudicate the rules, narrate the story, and juggle other responsibilities.
I feel like that covers it.
And as such, like a natural part of adjudication is choosing to ignore the rules when you want to.
Yeah, well,
it's the responsibility of all the players, not just the GM, to make sure the table is fun and welcoming to all.
There you go.
And gaming for all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Anyway.
Sorry, it's just me opening up this book is somewhat of an excuse to just look at the artwork.
That's
one
fine.
More time.
I won't dissuade that. You're good. not dissuade. I don't know.
Baggage.
dissuade.
The franchise
Okay.
has baggage. From the bad press over the years, the old broken promises, and the unavoidable edition wars waged by some fans.
That's in everything. It's
Yeah,
literally in everything, except for the failed MMO, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. That might not be for everything.
D&D has a failed MMO.
I don't know if it's failed. I don't know. I haven't checked numbers. I assume it's not great, but yeah, no, every single one has baggage. It's all gonna have baggage. Like, even when you make one now, it's gonna have some sort of baggage. I don't know. Fucking Fate of Cthulhu has fucking baggage. It started with baggage. Like,
One would dare say that's all it is.
yeah, quite literally. Like, yeah, I don't. Weird.
God, dude, I hope I get the chance to read through the rulebook and like find them using the term like Terminator at one point because
Oh,
they
that would be
forgot to
funny.
take it out or something.
That would be so funny.
Oh, I would kill for it.
So again, weird con. Don't know about this. Go on.
Stories in this game can take on many different themes, but if you're playing by the rules of the game, there is always going to be a strong addiction element. Addiction.
Shocker.
Okay, so let me tell
Imagine
you.
my surprise.
Let me tell you something about the real world, and how if you're gonna have something that emulates it and is set in the real world, but with some fantastical things, drugs exist, and also
Well,
humans.
that, but-
Humans exist. You get addictive personalities to or just addictive in nature for everything.
I don't think that they're talking about drugs though. They're saying the fact that if you struggle with addiction, that what can help is not thinking about your addiction. And then if you play a TTRPG where you play vampires that are literally compulsed to imbibe a certain substance.
Oh,
And what's that smell? It's blood.
it's blood.
Then
You know what? Let's not.
You know what? If
Pander,
if
okay?
you're trying to quit smoking, don't play Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
guess.
stupid. That's fucking. I have a friend who played Vampire who is quitting smoking now, and I could probably go ask him, "Hey, man, if you were to play Vampire, would this affect your smoking in any way?" And he'd go, "No,"
Yeah.
and I'd be like, "Good."
I can separate myself from fiction.
It's this kind of shit is so fucking like.
It just seems very like condescending.
That's why I said pandering. Yeah, it's just like I don't understand why people aren't gonna like this. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna say something controversial. I don't think everybody is as special a snowflake as they cry as like the people who cry about it. Like, I don't think there's a lot of people in the world that are going to just be offended by the fact or have issue with the fact that this is a vampire game and they might encounter an addictive theme.
You might as well say a key element is if you're from a religious background,
Sure.
and all of a sudden now your character can't walk into churches,
Yep.
then like, oh no, that might be bad for them. It's like, shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're literally going to be playing a vampire who violates people's privacy and drinks their blood and commits murders. Like,
You literally stalk and kill people.
yes, there is so much here that you could take issue with, and if you're gonna take issue with the fact that it's an addiction first, I don't understand.
Why is murder a key element, not a problem?
Yeah, exactly. If you're gonna be this fucking weird about it, then like I don't know. I just hate.
Hey, you had someone in your life who was murdered. You probably shouldn't play vampire.
Exactly. I don't like. In fairness, sure. If that is too much for you, I understand. But what I'm saying is that for the general pop, pretty sure most people are gonna be fine with it. More so.
That is very much a niche problem.
Yes.
And I don't mean to say this in order to delegitimize a
No.
person's grief or like PTSD or whatever. However, it is very much a niche issue, and as such, it is not a publisher issue.
No.
It is a you issue.
Exactly. So
It is not the obligation of the publisher to make sure that they like call in and interview with you and check with you that there is nothing that could be problematic to you.
exactly.
It is what is I would guess you would say agreeable to the general populace.
Exactly.
And to the general populace, who we are all addicted to something or another, be it sugar or caffeine or TV or the best goddamn podcast about TTRPGs this side of the Mississippi. Like, it comes in different forms.
It's true. It's true.
In most other games, really just a novelty mechanic or subplot, but here you're going to deal with it almost constantly. Pros. Matured and polished game. You need to look no further than the character creation process in this game to see that it is the end result of decades of playtesting and refinement over multiple editions.
Okay. Not to... Yes, that's good, but also, what does that say?
Very vague.
That's so vague you can apply it to literally any edition of any TTRPG that has had multiple editions.
Except Fate.
I said that's had multiple editions. Fate hasn't had multiple editions. So
No,
like
it had Fate Core.
that is the edition.
Yeah, but wasn't there
everything else is add-ons?
No, I thought it was Fate Core, and then there is the new one is just Fate.
No. Fate Core
Oh.
is what it is. Yeah, I think. Let me check. I will fact check myself on that. But regardless, the point still stands of like, this tells me nothing. Unfortunately, I'm glad it's a pro for you, but I could say that this would apply to literally, as I said, any TTRPG with multiple editions. You go for it.
Yeah, Fate Core 4th edition.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well then it still applies. Okay. If there's been 4 editions of it, then I guess so. Okay, well...
first edition was published in early 2003. The latest edition, 4th edition, was published successfully through crowdsourcing on Kickstarter in 2013.
Ah, gotcha.
I knew there had been multiple editions.
You did, and I'm glad you called me out on it then. So, yeah, I could say that about Fate. I don't know. Well, I wouldn't, but...
Yeah.
Realism in the mechanics. Being a vampire is a struggle and not all that romanticized at any point in the book. Some of the vampiric powers are a bit overpowered in my opinion, such as the mind control powers, but the constant threat of hunger keeps things pretty grounded and serious.
Sure, I guess.
Until you reach like a late enough point in the game where you just have a freezer full of people.
Yeah, I mean at that point you're pretty well set.
I mean...
But it's as plentiful or as sparse.
You want this one? It's a vintage 1947. Or perhaps something a bit newer.
It's as plentiful or as scarce as the storyteller makes it, right? Like, sure, I guess. I don't know.
And like realism in the rules, dude. Like, there's a lot of editions of D&D that have all had some like rules to aid with realism.
And like I agree that this being part of the core rule set makes it more realistic. So yes, there is more realism as the game is. Whereas in something like D&D, the realism kind of aspects are more variant rules and not all optional.
Yeah.
So I guess yes. Good. Okay. Good. I'm glad you like it.
Communities. There are countless communities online.
Okay, dude, every fucking TTRPG has this.
I don't know about you, but I've never looked up help for Call of Cthulhu and had someone answer "Get good."
Yeah, if this is new to this is in 2020, dude. If this is new to you right now, okay.
I was very much worried that the pros and cons would all be generalized paste of like, here are bad thing, it's
Mhm.
spoopy. Here are good thing, it fun. Uh, and I am somewhat relieved and saddened to see that it was that exact thing.
Exactly. Like, I,
I no
man,
longer have the anxiety of will this be like saying nothing because I now know.
it's unfortunate, right? Because like, and hey, he might even call us unhelpful. No, 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 sir. If you ask me a question, I will help you as best I
Dude,
can.
I
And
will like
yeah, I will go
away
to
for you.
Google. And like, what I would even say is that I'm trying to be as helpful as I can right now. This is nothing. You're telling me absolutely nothing. Like, you're so generalized that again, I can just put this on any other thing and be like, yeah, same thing. What are you telling me?
I would. Oh, dude, you know what we could do is we could do reviews of different editions of like D&D and Pathfinder
Hmm.
and Fate and
Hmm.
like Call of Cthulhu,
Hmm.
and our thoughts will just always be this at the end of every single like edition. Matured and polished overall. The rules do have some
Some
realism,
realism
and
in them, and which I
you
enjoy.
know, yeah, when you look up D&D first edition, oh, the people have been
It's a,
playing this game for over 20 years,
they're a
and
wide community,
it's very easy to find a wide variety of
and
resources.
it's very helpful. So I hope if you ever see this, that you understand that this is ridiculous in the sense of you're telling us literally nothing about this. Like, I understand that these are your pros and cons for you, and they mean something to you, and that's great.
I I do enjoy the fact that he says like and unfortunately he mentions it in the part of the prose where it says realism in the rules,
Hmm.
because he did have a legitimate thought, which was, I think some of the abilities are a bit
I
overpowered,
would love for him to
and
go into
you
that.
could,
Yeah,
yeah, and you can extrapolate from there and say these are some gameplay concerns with the mind control abilities,
seems to be
and
a
that would be
con.
an excellent point in the cons.
Seems to be a
However,
con.
you mention this in your bullet
In
point
your
of
pros.
realism and the rules. You mentioned mind control, and I
Like, I know, I guess it's not the point of the video, and I would love it if you did make a video, one, about the storytelling thing, because I would love to know now what you think of it, because you didn't
please,
have time, and you still don't,
yeah,
apparently.
please tell me about the storytelling in this role playing game.
And also, if you could actually give me something that I can work with in the sense of the cons and the pros, like, specifically, because everything you've told me is informational, and I appreciate that so far. Before this section, everything you've told me is
Yeah,
informational, and I appreciate it. But this is just nothing, and I can't get much from this other than I'm glad you like things, and I'm sad you dislike things.
I understand with the YouTube algorithm, you have to be underneath 20 minutes.
Yeah.
However, I know of 3 minutes of your video that you can cut out and then still have 10 minutes to talk about the storytelling. I'm just saying, if you want a bit of help, like, I have some thoughts I can give you if you want.
Exactly. I just. Do you say anything else?
For rules, support, and play. In my experience, they are almost always willing to embrace new players. And if you're looking for players of your own to play online, you will very likely find some.
Oh,
So,
Sorry.
imagine my surprise.
You know,
This
if you go
just
looking for
this
something,
just in TTRPG community filled with players looking for groups.
let me tell you, if you go looking for something, you're more than likely to find it.
If you're looking for a group to play with, chances are you'll find one.
Oh. I'm sorry, I'm clowning on you now, dude, but like, come on.
Well,
you
how
have
can we not? He built us the circus.
I know. I can't help it.
it. Vampire Masquerade 5th Edition. I think the pros outweigh the cons on this one by a
How?
long shot.
You've given us 3 of both.
Oh! And one of your pros was actually a con.
It included a con. Yeah. Okay, like let me tell you something about what you've given me for your informational part, right? So from your
Okay.
informational part, you've given me the information without opinion. That was what you did, and I appreciated it, but now I don't know whether or not you like it or not in certain respects.
He says he clearly likes it. We just don't know
No.
why.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. I'm glad you like the system. I think I will too. But I don't know why you like the system other than the community, the realism, and the mechanics. Sorry, rules. And I forget.
But don't forget the rules are also one of the cons.
Right, there's also something in the rules that you don't like, so now it's a little nebulous. What was the first one that he said? I have already forgotten.
I don't know.
I don't care. But like, you see, like you've given me that, and like that's all I know now. Like, how do they outweigh the pros? How do the pros outweigh the cons when you've given me 3 of each and one had an additional con? I don't understand. I am glad.
I can't speak previous versions, but V5 is a remarkable RPG. Let me know what you think of this game.
It's so remarkable that you remarked on it 3 times. With vague fucking reasons. Like, okay. Thank you for making the video, first off.
Yeah.
Dave.
was
Thalmavor.
The most of the video was very good, very informative,
Yes.
enjoyable, made things easy to understand.
Yes.
My only criticism in the first portion of the video would have been I wish you would have gone a bit more in depth as to what some of the abilities did.
Exactly.
Because I feel like we've only scratched the surface of what you can do.
Mhm.
I would also say that in general, your I have no time in this video is only ever true if you are like staring down the barrel of like a completely full hard drive. In which case that's kind of an like
That's on you, bud.
Yeah.
It's on you.
And storytelling is a huge portion of a role-playing game, especially when you talk about how important the fiction is.
Imagine.
So when you say there's a lot of fiction in this game and also a lot of rules, and then you talk about the rules and then none of the fiction and like storytelling. It kind of gives a bit of a skewed representation, doesn't it?
Yeah, like again, I appreciate what you've given me for the information, but man, you need to
I now know more than I did before.
Yes, but it's I would honestly say that it's kind of lacking still.
All right, it's okay. So you are hungry. You are starving to death on the street, and a man comes up to you with a burger cart, and pictured on the side of the burger cart is this amazing looking burger,
the greatest burger I've ever seen.
Lettuce, tomato, bacon, some pepper jack cheese, or some smoked Gouda if that is your fancy. And you're like, hell yeah. And he says, I said, young man, put this burger in your hand. And it is a plain hamburger that is well done between 2 pieces of sandwich bread.
Yep.
And you're like,
thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
First off, thank you.
Absolutely.
But what about that sign I see?
Yeah. What? Why is this not what I see on the side of your burger?
And then he goes, "Oh, well, today's my day off, but I have no time to make that burger."
Yeah.
And you go, what? And he says, so here's some pros of the burger. It's a burger.
It's good.
It's good. And it's got meat. And you go, okay. And he's like, and some of the cons of the burger are it's a burger and and the meat's a bit overcooked and it's okay. and there's a huge community of people who like burgers. And you go, what? And then he says goodbye. And it's here I am with a burger in my lap and a lot of questions.
So, I gotta say though, the fact that he told you at the con that the burger was a little too overcooked, that's too specific.
Yeah,
It's too specific. But otherwise, 100% behind the analogy.
and yeah, you go, what? He says, overall, I think the pros outweigh the cons.
Yeah.
So here's a burger, and you go, what? And then like he disappears.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. If there's another video that he has that is actually about the storytelling and stuff, please let me know because I didn't see it. But I appreciate it anyway.
But like having eaten the burger, it's decent.
Yeah, no, the burger was okay. I was all right with it.
It satisfied my hunger.
Yup, I'm not gonna die. That's pretty good.
I'm confused, but
okay, let me
I can have.
Oh, my throat is gonna die. Okay. So, there's another vampire video that I was looking at that might be better. I only watched like 2 minutes of it, and it seemed to be more informational. At least now that I've seen this video. But it doesn't have like lore, I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a while. And it's very, it seems like a PowerPoint presentation, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, I'm less interested in lore and more interested in like
the system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel like that's a good...
I can always find out the lore when I want to.
Yes.
But knowing on whether or not I will hate the system will inform whether or not I buy the edition.
Exactly. So, let us move on to the how to RPG Vampire the Masquerade 5e. This
excellent.
is brought to us by Casual Heroics, who only has 139 subscribers, unfortunately. But it seems like this was from a year ago, and it seems like he put a lot of effort into it, and it's got 10k views, so I don't know.
Hark and behold, I see a hot dog cart approaching.
No, you see another burger cart, but this burger cart, the person seems to be actively selling burgers.
Oh, well, that remains to be seen.
We shall see. That's why I said it seems to be. We shall see. So here we go.
Will he be all out of burgers by the time he reaches me? Who knows? He only has 10 minutes and 46 seconds before he runs out of hot dogs.
Hello and welcome to How to RPG, a video series about teaching the basic mechanics to various tabletop role-playing games. Today we'll be going over Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. What is Vampire the Masquerade? Vampire the Masquerade is a pen and paper role-playing
Holy
game
shit!
set in the world
Wait, no, sorry. The background music sounds like the beginning to Blood Gang by Young Scrolls, which is like relevant, I guess.
Oh.
Just it's sampled from Elder Scrolls, so it may be Elder Scrolls music the whole way through. But if we hear snare in the background, then it's Blood Gang. Okay. Which is a good song. Like, you guys should all check out Young Scrolls on Bandcamp and YouTube.
Okay.
Darkness setting created by White Wolf Entertainment. It is a game where players play as a vampire hailing from one of the several vampiric clans in the World of Darkness, mostly newer generations in the 21st century. It is important to note that World of Darkness is a mature setting where players will be dealing in mature themes such as violence, sexuality, and addiction. Now, for those familiar with the lore prior to 5th edition, there has been several revisions to the lore, so things aren't the same as they used to be. Something happened to where the Masquerade was broken and the government covered it up. This has started up the Second Inquisition, which practically wiped the Sabbat faction off the map. Now,
Oh.
governments around the
Okay.
world are aware of the existence of vampires and actively hunt them down with the aid of the Vatican. Moving on.
Oh,
That's
Cool.
interesting. Okay.
that's pretty neat.
Yeah, like literal active government agents going after you with the Vatican?
So-
yeah, sign me up.
So now this makes sense as to like, wow, how do people not know about this? And the answer is some of them do, but it's
Yeah.
a government cover up.
Exactly. So, hey.
Vampiric clans. Before we get into the vampiric clans, it is important to touch upon the two major factions that Vampire the Masquerade focuses on. The Camarilla, which focus on strict hierarchy and keeping...
Okay, just I gotta criticize the video a little bit. It's one, it looks like a PowerPoint presentation, which isn't inherently bad. But if you're going to do this, I would expect as you bring up topics for them to get on the screen, because it just says vampiric clans.
All right. Now he did just say the word Camarilla.
No, no, he's said a little bit about it. I might be a little faster. So we'll see, I guess. But I would expect it to come on the screen when he's talking about it, in editing, just to swoop that in. But
the Masquerade, while the Anarchs are about freedom and to not live
yeah,
under
no,
the
he just hasn't put anything about them at all.
Okay. Yeah.
So
boot of older generations. They tend to skirt dangerously close to breaking the Masquerade. Now, going back to discussing the actual clans themselves, vampires are stereotypical creatures. The bloodlines and clans determine what kind of stereotypical traits are drawn out of the human once they become a kindred. Bruja are rebels, Gangreal are animalistic vampires, Alcavian are insane madmen, Nosferatu are hideous and secretive vampires, Toreador are beauty-obsessed, Tremere are blood wizards and witches, Ventru are charismatic leaders and tyrants, Caitiff are clanless vampires, and Thin Bloods are the newest generations of vampires with weak blood.
okay. Oh, he actually is doing this as a PowerPoint presentation.
Oh yeah.
Whoa. Okay, fair enough. You didn't have a slide for the Camarilla and the Anarchs, I guess. So that's weird, but okay. All right, I see. You could have put in the slide, but all right.
All right. So I will give you points for good taste on music.
Yeah.
Although I'm pretty sure Young Scrolls just says ask me for permission and you can use whatever you want.
Uh-oh.
But you gotta have some visual presentation, dude.
Yeah, my man. Like, it's a big blank white screen for most of it, except for the small
with words
corner.
up in a corner.
Yeah, like it's not even centered. If it was centered, I'd be like, yeah, that's a little better. Cause like I get it. Yeah, you have it on the left, and then you have the lists and stuff. I get
the
that.
bullet points.
Right, I get that.
But then there's no bullet points.
Right. So, I mean, if this was a business meeting, I would dock points and probably not go with your proposition.
If this were like one of the weekly PowerPoint presentations I have to do in one of my classes,
You've made me very like a little bit closer to like quitting my job.
yeah, like I would get failed on this. And granted, you know what? The freedom of doing this as something that you want to do is you are not beholden to any rules.
It is true.
However,
There is a standard.
yeah.
Like, and I'm not gonna say that I could do better. Well, okay, I am.
Don't worry,
say
Alejo. I will say you could do better.
I will also agree. I could probably
I
do a
would-
better PowerPoint presentation.
In fact, if you didn't, I would give you shit about it.
Yes, and as you should, and I would be motivated to do better. Then again, this is from a year ago, so I don't know if he's improved by now, if he's even made videos since that. No, he made a video 3 months ago, so we'll see. Oh, it doesn't look oh no, I need to check now. Uh-oh. Let's see. Oh no, he has not improved. Oh no. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's just sad.
Anyway, outside the scope of what we're here for.
Yes, sorry. It's just, well, yeah. It is a part of the videos that we look at, so just had to comment.
Now on to game mechanics. Vampire the Masquerade uses the storyteller system, much like other World of Darkness games. How this system works is you create a dice pool of 10-sided dice. The pool is created by using 2 separate skills that are related to the situation at hand to create this dice pool, and you roll for it. In 5th edition, you need to meet 6 or above in order to have success. 10s count as criticals, and a pair of criticals counts as 4 successes automatically. Ability scores. The ability scores in Vampire fit under 3.
There's a little sudden
Bit
there.
of a whiplash.
Well, yeah, I was just getting settled down, but all right. Literally,
You lulled me in, like
I was there. I was
much
with you.
like a Wagyu cow. You got me drunk, and you were playing like some classical music and massaging me, and then boom, bolt to the head. You got me.
But regardless, I am glad you're going into ability scores because the other guy didn't really.
Umbrellas: physical, social, and mental. The ability scores that are provided are strength, dexterity, stamina, charisma, manipulation, composure, intelligence, wits, and resolve.
What do they each do?
Every vampire
Okay.
has vampiric abilities unique to their character and clan.
What do they each do?
They are things such as disciplines, willpower, healing, and blood potence.
To be fair, he might go into it later. Maybe
He's
it's
running
another
out of
slide.
time if he's
Maybe
gonna.
it's more detailed.
Yeah,
Detailed slide.
what is it going to be? A white slide with the word strength on it?
Yes. I would expect that at this point. Yes.
Disciplines are the vampiric abilities or powers that the vampire
Oh,
can
I'm
have.
sorry. No, he's going into the the vampiric abilities. He's not going into the ability scores. He did say when he prefaced before, he did say that they fall under physical, mental, and I forget the third now.
Social.
Thank you, social.
But
Those
so did the last video.
did it? I don't remember.
Yeah, because he showed the character sheet, and there's physical, social, and mental,
There you go.
and
Okay,
then he says they fall into the umbrellas of physical, social, and mental,
you're right.
much like we did here.
You're right. You're right.
And like, okay, how does charisma differ from manipulation?
Yes, I would like to know the minutiae
So
or the
it's
nuances.
strength, dex, con, charisma. I guess persuasion is its own thing. Composure would be like bluff.
No.
Intelligence, wisdom.
Maybe it's I don't know. Composure is literally like the ability to stay resolute in a situation that might break your composure, right? Like in the sense of
Yeah, like someone accuses you of being a vampire,
And you
and
go,
instead
"No."
of going wide-eyed and going, "Oh shit," you go, "What, dude? That's ridiculous."
that's fucking stupid. Vampires don't exist.
Like, I understand that. However,
Right.
if
You're trying to equate it to a skill.
yes, if
Sorry,
I were to
yes.
make an analogous example in 5e, I would make that like or sorry, in 3.5, I'd make that a bluff check.
Oh, I would put that under manipulation.
I think manipulation is do something for me.
Maybe. I don't know. Again,
That's
just speculation.
That's when you buzz the doorman to let you into Kramer's apartment.
So then, aren't you bluffing your way in?
Yeah, you're manipulating someone. You are
Yeah.
bluffing. However,
Yeah.
I'm saying in this bluff can be either obfuscating something and like trying to keep your cards hidden versus trying to get someone to do something for you.
Okay. I see. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he goes into it. Maybe.
Disciplines are the vampiric abilities or powers that the vampire can have. Each one is different, again, to each different character. How willpower works, you can use it to reroll up to 3 dice on any given test.
Ooh.
How vampires heal is you make a rousing check in order to heal a certain amount of damage to your character. We'll go into a little bit more specifics later on.
Good.
Okay.
Blood potency is how powerful your character's abilities and powers are.
Right.
Usually it is determined by their age and generation.
Makes sense, yes.
Now, what do the ability scores work with?
See?
So for physical, you'll be using athletics, brawl, craft, drive, firearms, larceny, melee, stealth, and survival.
Interesting. Wait. Oh, yeah, I guess that makes because Dexter. Yeah, okay. Never mind. Sorry.
So
I always find it weird whenever drive is a check.
Yeah, they're literally the only time I would ever see drive being used is if you're in a chase scene, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
It
that.
seems so very niche.
It really does, and like I'm fine with it being so niche because not everybody's gonna be the best driver in that situation,
Yeah,
right?
and like you want to have the character who is the getaway driver.
Yeah, exactly. You
Like
can make it.
in our Shadowrun campaign, I had significant ranks in drive because I
Mm,
was the guy who
you were in the
stayed
van.
in the van
Hmm.
with the robots,
Hmm.
and if anything, like if shit went sideways, like pile into the van and I'll get us out.
Yeah.
However, that was very much drive seems to be a pretty stupid skill. Let me dump in like 30 points into it. Let's go.
A dexterity and brawl roll for attacking and such. That's how this system works. Is you make the combination of one overarching skill and then the actual skills themselves, and that's how you'll be doing
What?
your dice pools.
Okay.
Social works with animal kin, etiquette, insight, intimidation, leadership, performance, persuasion, street wit, and subterfuge. Mental works with academics, awareness, finance, investigation, medicine, occult, politics, science, and technology.
Okay, I just want to like just take a second to look at these a little bit because having the social things, I just want to look at the skills for a second because I
Yeah.
like.
They all seem to make sense.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with all of them. Where they are.
I'm a bit confused as to why academics is different than science.
Well, you can. I guess I would say academics is more broad and like gen ed based, and then like science is more focused.
Yes, but as a STEM major,
Okay,
we all know that the only academics worthwhile are those in science and
I see.
engineering.
I see. Well, I'm
Like,
glad.
what even is a literature degree?
That's true. That's fair. You know what? That's a thing.
Is it?
Wow.
I don't know. I don't talk to those kids. I'm not even sure they exist. I think they were actors paid by the university.
Oh, I want to get that job.
The disciplines, again, are what powers the vampire have. Each clan has their own set of powers that they can use. And
What I will say is before, I wish he had put which attributes were for which, just to make that incredibly clear, you know? Because they're already divided into their groups, so if you had just a small thing of, strength, dex, all that kind of stuff right above it, that would be nice, but...
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where much like 7th C or variant rules in 5e, you can choose to or no, Pathfinder has it. Where you can choose to roll something different for a roll.
Oh.
So
okay.
like you can do something with a strength check,
Oh.
or you can roll the same roll as part of a different physical attribute.
Yeah,
Based
okay.
on how your character tends to tackle problems.
Yeah, if that's what he was saying before, like when he was doing the first column, if that's what he was trying to say, then that would be cool.
I don't know because neither
honestly,
video has told me this one way or the other.
Yeah,
And I'm applying Pathfinder knowledge to this in hopes of finding something analogous.
Yeah,
but...
actually, let me drag it back to that one section because I want to see if he even like if we can parse that from what he says.
He doesn't.
And survival. So you can make a dexterity and brawl roll for attacking and such. That's
okay. A dex and brawl.
Is you make
okay. You can do a dex and brawl or strength and brawl.
Well, he didn't say that though.
Dexterity and brawl roll for attacking and such. That's how this system works. Is you make the combination of one overarching skill and then the actual skills themselves.
Yeah,
okay.
That's
yes.
how it works.
Okay. Yes. Then yes. Okay. Cool.
And some work differently, such as the caitiffs or the thin bloods, due to their alternative means of powers and bloodlines. The following disciplines are animalism, aspects, celerity, dominate, fortitude, obfuscate, potence, presence, protein, blood sorcery, rituals, and thin blood alchemy. Those last three are very unique to different stuff. Rituals are more drawn out rituals. Thin Blood Alchemy is more so towards actual alchemy rather than a power, and Blood Sorcery is that of the blood magicians and witches mentioned earlier.
Right.
Yeah. As I understand it, moving back, there we go. It would seem Blood Sorcery is more the Vahir, Vamir, that one clan that is like all wizards and witches.
Yes. Yeah.
Who have access to probably some of the other disciplines, but Blood Sorcery is their main thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I believe the other video said that it's more like offensively like blood bending and stuff, like
Yes.
cutting yourself and then summoning like a blood scythe.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is fucking cool.
Yeah. Rituals is like I do the chicken dance in a circle and like cast a hex on like someone in a building or like to open a door. And then Thin Blood Alchemy is like
literally just alchemy.
You know, it's alchemy that normally wouldn't work for a human, but you add a pinch of thrall blood or thin blood to it, and like it works.
Yeah, exactly. Which is good that they have something, because they're fucked otherwise.
They are literally junkies, and that's it. That's all they got.
Blood Alchemy is more so towards actual alchemy rather than a power, and Blood Sorcery is that of the blood magicians and witches mentioned earlier. Moving on to additional mechanics. Vampires are creatures that require to feed on blood, so hunger plays an important role in the story. In Vampire, you have a meter to track how hungry your character is. The more hunger your character has, the more hunger dice.
Come on, man. He's trying to tell you the basics, alright?
I'm sorry. It's just the sentence caught me off guard.
That's fair.
Vampires feed on blood. Wow.
What a world!
Somehow I went through my whole life without knowing that.
You'll be using. Hunger dice replace other dice in your dice pools. So if you have one hunger, one die in your pool will be replaced by a hunger die. If you have two, it'll be replaced by two. So on and so forth. How to combat hunger is your predator styles, and that is how your character feeds.
Ooh.
So you can either gain blood by persuading or seducing your victim. You can do it by, you can take your blood by force. You can take your blood while they're sleeping. You can also feed on animals. It all depends on how your character
My
feeds
raccoon thralls.
Yes, exactly.
I will be the Pied Piper of trash pandas.
Yes, please. I was gonna say, I'm glad now that I know that there are specific like styles that you can use to actually harvest the blood, and it's not just like every like. I feel like it's more a specialization for each vampire instead of like this is what everybody can do. You know, I feel like it's one of those things.
I always figured there'd be a variety of ways in which you could feed, especially in a RPG wherein apparently you consume blood.
All right.
That like you can it's like making like a bite attack and then you hold it for 3 rounds.
Right. What I'm saying is I assume just the fact that each of them is a style, that if you use a certain style when you are more experienced in another style, that it will give you less or more, depending,
or
right?
It'll be harder to pull off.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's more of a specialized thing in that regard, so that you can definitely try to do other things whenever you need it, but it's going to be harder for you.
Yeah.
At least that's what I gather.
like if you're someone who's used to preying on people while they sleep, and
Yeah.
then your hunger dice get to be too much,
Yeah.
and you go feral for a while, and you corner someone in a back alley, there is like it's gonna be even rougher for you because you're desperate and
Yes.
also like not good at what you are doing.
Exactly. I hope that I honestly hope that that's how it is. I don't know, but that's what I'm gathering just for the fact that it's an additional mechanic. Excuse me.
Style. In 5th edition, there is a difference now where you cannot get rid of your last point of hunger without killing a human being.
That's different.
Oh, so that's
In
new to
order to
fifth.
kill a
Yeah.
human being, that will cause a stain on your humanity, which gets you closer to the beast inside, as they refer it to.
Mhm.
The beast is the constant hunger that vampires have for blood,
It yum.
and the less humanity they
Feed
have,
the
the less human they are.
Mhm,
There's a constant fight between their humanity and the beast inside of the vampire that always rages. Humanity is your character's humanity. It is how they can still maintain their own sanity and act and function like a normal person for the
Right.
most part. Their beliefs is how they go about that, and it helps prevent stains or other such things that would harm your humanity and bring you closer to the beast. So, such things as survival of the fittest, that is a belief that your character will have to keep their humanity. So, if they
Okay.
kill someone, they will be able to at least write off one stain off their humanity and take less stains that way.
Okay,
Damage
that's cool.
and death.
Okay, yeah. So depending on your belief, that governs how much humanity you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Or
that's-
like going back to my thing earlier of like sponsoring children, but also
Yeah.
like killing people is the whole thing of I've done more good than I've caused harm.
exactly, yeah. Which I like that that's a part of the system, and I wish that the other guy had even mentioned that because like that's a whole thing, man. Like being able to quote unquote rationalize it in a way, you know, so that it makes sense mechanically that way. I like that. I like that a lot.
I don't know about you, Alejo,
Mhm.
but we've watched 2 videos now from people in the Vampire the Masquerade community,
Mhm.
and I would say the amount of helpfulness has been debatable.
Hey man, there are not many videos that are actually detailing like things about it other than actual plays or ones that are an hour to 30 minutes, okay? And like I would be down to watch a 30-minute one, but it would take us the rest of the evening, you know?
I mean, we've watched 20 cumulatively a 24-minute video that we've then had to pause between switching from one video to another, as well as it being rife with
That is true.
speculation, corrections, and criticisms.
That is true. You are absolutely correct. So really, I'm full of shit. So, you know what?
So feel
Shame on
bad.
me. Shame on me.
Yep. Feel
Um,
bad.
I feel so bad.
I will put your nose
Mhm.
into the rug.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Ow. Ow. Oh god.
Mhm. Yep. And then that's enough. You
All
have
right.
learned your lesson.
I
Characters in the vampire world have interesting ways of dying. When they sleep or are unconscious, they are in a state called torpor. Torpor is basically they appear dead to everything since they are vampires. They have no bodily functions, no heartbeat, no nothing.
Yeah.
So they appear dead. That is their form of unconsciousness, which is different from their actual death.
Yeah.
Superficial damage and aggravated damage are the 2 types of damage that you'll be dealing with. Superficial
Again, like
That'd be a good
sub
slide.
points, right? Like some kind of additional bullet point underneath each to. No. Okay.
damage is damage that vampires are not weak to, such as normal attacks as bludgeoning damage, piercing of a knife, bullets, such things as that. Aggravated damage is actual attacks that can harm the vampire, such as werewolf claws or armaments of the Second Inquisition. That is what would actually bring your character to their death. If
I like that it's called the Second Inquisition, by the way.
Yeah.
That's some good shit. I love that.
The health tracker is full of superficial damage. And a side note, superficial damage is usually recorded as a slash, and aggravated damage is considered a cross slash. So once superficial damage is full on the meter, you start taking aggravated damage.
Right.
So once that is full, your character is dead the moment they reach full aggravated damage. If it's full superficial damage, they are just in topol. Before we move on to the next section, it is important to note.
Okay, but what I would like to know is what happens when you have aggravated damage and then you take... Or sorry, you have superficial damage and then you take aggravated damage.
I would assume that think of it as gray health. So
Okay.
you've got like a gauge of 4 superficial damage points
Mm-hmm.
and let's say 3 aggravated damage points.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If at any point in time you take 3 aggravated damage points, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
However, you can be hit by 7 superficial things.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, like,
point-
you can get hit by a car and take 3 points, and people are like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm fine, but yeah, I'll be good." And then like an 18-wheeler hits you, and you're immediately down to like, you're immediately in torpor with like 2 aggravated damage, and then
Right.
you wake up in the morgue because everyone's like, "Oh yeah, he has no heartbeat.
Yeah,
He
he's
must
dead.
be dead."
Yeah.
And then you wake up in the morgue and you're like, I need to eat.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
You get a critical on hunger dice. That counts as a messy critical, which is how your vampiric nature enacts during that.
Also, man, like, the structure, you're now going back to Hunger Dice. Like, come on.
So
You're jumping
so
around. And
so this is gonna sound really weird and hyper specific.
okay.
But like, have you ever had a presentation you had to deliver before a class and you had flashcards in your hand about
Mhm.
what each slide was supposed to say,
Mhm.
but you didn't want to be the person who stands up there and reads off his flashcards?
Mhm.
So you look around and you look at the audience and then you realize like 2 points later that you forgot to make a point and you don't want to be docked for not making that point.
Mhm.
So you randomly go back
Mhm. Mhm.
and say, "Oh, as a quick aside, this."
Mhm.
Um, and that seems to be what's happening here. However, the
Yes.
real benefit of not having like a face cam and the magical power of editing
Mhm.
is that doesn't have to be a concern.
No, you're right. But also the magical power of editing, so. Anyway.
Skill roll. So, such as an instance where you're trying to knock out the guard. You go in to try to use a physical means to knock out the guard by smashing something on the back of their head, but you get a messy critical. So your vampiric nature takes over the body and you end up trying to bite them. So you
Sure.
end up knocking them out that way
Okay.
by sucking out their blood.
In which case do you still refill hunger?
Oh, yeah, probably. I would say so. I would imagine so, at least. Why wouldn't you? Right?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
What happens after that situation, but the initial moment is already come and gone, so it may go in your favor in one instance and against it in another way. And that's the addition of messy criticals. Now, combat. Combat in Vampire the Masquerade has...
I will say this video has been more informative in the sense
It has.
Yeah, like this, I would say that this video is not aesthetically as good.
Yeah, despite the complete lack of visual aid, it is
Yeah.
still very informative.
It is incredibly informative. So the only thing that I would tell
it's harder to follow along.
Yes. The only thing that I would tell this guy is you got to work on your presentation. You got to work on your presentation.
There
my
are
man.
these files we refer to as PNGs.
And, yeah, that's about it. Like honestly, it feels like a proto basics for gamers or whatever it was, that channel that we covered with Brogan.
And like weirdly enough too, hold on, let me just check one of my slideshows on
Sure.
Google Docs real quick. And I just want to hit the present button.
Okay.
Okay. and let me now check it on my Mac,
Okay.
because I'm pretty sure that this was done on Google Slides on a Mac.
Oh.
Let me just check this. And hit present. Oh, no, it could have been Windows too.
Okay.
But that press escape to enter full screen has the exact same font as Google Slides.
Okay. Gotcha. Hey, I mean,
Oh, no, by all means, I'm not criticizing
Yeah.
him for not using like
Okay.
actual PowerPoint or anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I'm just saying it is indicative of like I do not have PowerPoint, so I use Google Slides. I go on Google Slides and I enter 5 bullet points, no pictures.
I mean, I don't have PowerPoint either. I have the Open Office version, whatever that is.
Oh yeah, same.
Yeah.
But
so-
like this is very much what I would call a backwoods operation.
Okay. I see what you mean.
Which like is fair and like does
Yeah.
not delegitimize his content.
No, I think honestly that this is very, like, it is good for what it is. Overall.
But
I give it some, I dock some points from it, yeah.
Mhm.
But
it's just the reason why I dock points for this being just straight up black and white
Yes.
is Google Slides has like
background slide things.
slides with backgrounds.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That is definitely a sticking point. Yeah. It like I don't like looking at things that are just black on white, because it hurts my eyes a bit. But,
Many different ways that you can do it, but we'll just go over one way that is the most complicated, so that way it'll be easier to go over the complicated one than the easier ones.
Okay.
So how this one will start off is you roll initiative, which is 1d10 plus wits and composure to determine the turn order, just like your standard D&D attack order.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So attacking and defending. Attacking, you will be using your appropriate skills to do how your damage or attack is working.
Right.
And each success you have above your defender is how much damage you get after the first initial success.
Okay.
So say you roll 4 successes to beat the defender who only has 2 successes. So 1 success counts as the actual success. The other successes will add to the damage. The defender, if they are aware, they may be able to dodge the attack, so they would make a dodge roll to defend against it. Supernatural creatures like vampires can do damage soaking, where they can roll a stamina pool equal to their stamina to reduce the damage that they are taking. That is how they'll be able to survive longer due to their unnatural ability. If there's anything that was missed or are there any questions, please leave them down in the comments. I'll do my best to get to them. I'll be leaving any helpful reference links down in the description. And that is about it I have for this video, so I'll see you all next time.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. Whoops, I didn't mean to restart it. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's good. I want to see what he has for references and stuff then.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Absolutely. Like
Doesn't have-
I very much give props for like if there's anything I missed, let me know, and
Yeah,
like
no,
I will
absolutely.
get you that info.
Yeah. So in the here, I'll even put it on the screen. He has in here free basic rule set link, Storyteller's Vault, a place to find PDFs of all World of Darkness games and other storyteller based games.
Dang.
Might be that's, you might be careful with that. That might be a little hopefully it's a, I don't know if it's a like a ripping site. Ooh, that'd be bad. How to make a vampire, and an in-depth video on VTM character creation that has been sitting on the recommended tab of this video for a while, so it's about time I give it a share. And there's other World of Darkness content to enjoy, such as lore. So other channel. Sounds of Silence, a video series of the game by Roll For It. VTM lore, here's some lore for idea and flavor purposes from the video game Bloodlines 2. Oh. Quick reference sheet for character creation, for a Google Drive link. How to be a great GM, a fantastic source to learn aspects and approaches to running games. Sometimes. I would like to thank Young Scrolls for allowing me to use his work for my videos. I've been dying to use his Blood Gang song for a vampire theme, and the perfect time has come for it. So please check out the work.
It was a good choice.
Yeah, so there you go.
I'm frankly shocked that despite the fact that that is not one of the main songs of Young Scrolls that I listen to, within like 5 seconds, I was like, "Holy shit, I know this song!"
Yeah. I'll have to probably include that link just to make sure that it doesn't cut, the algorithm doesn't come after the video. But yeah, no, that's honestly I think that's a good video overall. I think that the guy should keep doing what he's doing, and that hopefully he continues to make videos and improves his quality of content, because unfortunately, from what I saw from his 3 month ago video, he still does the same thing there, but his one before that though, he did on Tabletop Sim. So that's interesting. He also has a one shot that he did of 5th edition of Vampire. So that's cool. Okay. So it seems to be, sorry, my brain. So it seems to be he does a video on the RPG, then he does a one shot, then he does a video on the RPG's like basic stuff, then he does a one shot, then he does so he accompanies it with some sort of reference.
Okay.
That is really cool.
Format.
I am subscribing with their channel. There we go. That is very cool, and I am super into it. So please go check out Casual Heroics. Give him a sub and tell him that he's doing good work, because he's doing good work. It's just that he needs to improve it a bit.
Yeah. How long has he been making videos for?
Let's check that. He joined in 2019, January of 2019.
Okay, he's been doing this for a year.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and he's only made for his like how-to videos, he's got 3 of them. So, yeah.
Boo should be joining soon, ideally.
Oh yeah, okay, cool. Excuse me.
We may have to restart it. Okay.
I can just do a ring.
Ring, ring.
But yeah, that's that. Vampire the Masquerade. Well, let's take an intermission here while we get him into the call. How about that? And we'll be right back. Welcome back. So yes,
except
Boo
for
is
that,
here now.
except for that one person, you're not welcome.
No, I like that person.
You know who you are.
No, bring it back.
Yeah,
in.
I know who it is. It's Jacob.
Oof! Ouch!
Oh no, Jacob's more than welcome here.
I'm just fucking around.
Yeah. So yeah, Boo, you missed out on vampire stuff. That was about
Yes.
Cool stuff. Seems neat. Would like more details, and maybe we'll cover something else that's more detailed later on.
Just vampires in general.
No, Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh, Vampire the Masquerade. Nice. Yeah.
TLDR vampires
Yes.
Spoopy, have clans.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I know Vampire the Masquerade. Also, and I know the Masquerade.
And according to one channel, they drink blood.
Oh, really?
Shut up. He did his best, okay? It was a year ago. Anyway,
a year ago, back before vampires drinking blood was widespread knowledge?
I know. It's not it's yeah. So Boo, get in the watch together.
Oh, right, that thing.
Yes.
That's exactly what I said.
Yep.
I always forget.
Somehow.
Oh. Uh-oh. Did I die?
Oh.
Hello?
You're here.
Okay, I didn't die. I thought I died. Because you cut out for a second, and I was like, oh no.
Oh.
Anyway.
It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening? Oh my god. Okay, so we are going to cover the next video, which is from WASD20.
Hey,
It's
Doubt
Nate.
it.
It's Nate. Oops.
Oh, so it is.
Yeah, it literally is. Yeah,
Hard to
he
say.
is talking about scare your players, horror and RPGs, because we're continuing with our spooky scary theme.
Spooky.
Spooky. So yeah, I'm interested to see what he has to say. Because we looked at Sandy's thing a while back, and he was talking about some good things about it, which we
kinda, sorta, halfway agreed.
Exactly. I was gonna say I didn't agree with fully, but it was definitely insightful. So
Hey Alejo, you know what you should do is you should find the for the outro music for this episode. You should see about
Outro
spooky,
music?
scary skeletons.
Oh, I've never even put in outro music ever.
What?
Yeah, no, I've never.
Why not?
I don't know. It's usually. I don't know.
Why haven't? What? How many episodes in are we?
35 now.
35. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm fucking with you. Remember,
Okay.
I helped you look for outro music that one night.
Yeah, I know, and we kind of decided. Anyway,
Yeah.
so and I was just kind of going along with it, but anyway, so let us look at scare your players, horror in RPGs.
In last week's video, we talked about 6 D&D monsters to terrify your players. However, I am pretty confident I could scare your pants off with any monster in one of those books on the shelf back there.
Yeah.
How about the Snallop here?
Ooh.
Okay, all of them except for that one. What about these here animal crackers?
Hell yeah!
Oh, that would. Yeah, no, dude,
Dude, are
that
you
would be.
kidding me? You absolutely
yeah,
could.
Go
Scare
back. I
the
want to
fuck
see the
out of me.
stats on him.
Okay.
If it shows the stats.
Animal
No.
Oh, okay, so it's not D&D.
No.
Yeah, Quirk. They have Quirk stuff and something else.
Cookie crumbs that
Oh,
do
they
2
can't
points of
swim.
damage to all characters in range. What is this? Wait, what is this system? The no thank you evil rulebook. Okay.
animal.
Okay.
Stuff 1 coin per player plus a handful of cookie crumbs. Edible, probably.
Oh my god, that's really good.
But no, I would be fucking terrified of animated animal crackers trying to kill me. Yes. That would be.
That just goes without saying.
Yeah.
Crackers. Yeah, I can work with that. But seriously, there is so much more to running a scary game or a horror game than picking a scary monster. So let's talk.
No, yeah.
Hi everybody, my name is Nate and you are watching WASD20, a channel about tabletop RPGs and fantasy maps. Now this video is sponsored by my good friends at Nerdarchy, who are currently taking pre-orders for their new book, Out of the Box Encounters.
This is an old thing. I hope he doesn't. No, he goes.
Their pledge manager. With all the Kickstarter in the book, you can also get October in Philly, and they invited me with the convention next October in Philly, and they invited me, which I'm really excited about.
Oh my
and
God.
a whole bunch of other YouTubers.
Yada, yada.
So check
Well, I mean, it was relevant at the time.
Yeah.
horror games. I also
There we
think
go.
it's important to note that some people just don't enjoy horror, and it might need to be a little bit more of a traditional D&D game with a few horror elements or tropes mixed in.
Sure.
And that's totally fine. Maybe it's a Halloween thing where you just want to have a good
mix
time
everything up.
playing a light game with ghouls and vampires and a little bit of that. Or maybe it's a horror game with frequent comic relief. All of this is fine for people who aren't really into that heavy, dark tone. However, in this one, I will mainly
Shaking
be
things
talking
up
about how to
helps
build
that tone
fear
stay
and how
fresh.
to scare even the most stalwart players. We're going for a little spine tingle here. And this leads me to my first point for running a horror game. Get to know your group and communicate. Communicate about the type of game you're going for. You can kind of give like an elevator pitch. I think that's a good idea. You can tell your group it's a gritty zombie survival game, or perhaps a spooky but zany haunted house exploration game, or a Victorian era murder mystery dealing with the occult. You can definitely get
So
a
Call of
longer pitch,
Cthulhu.
but
Yeah, I was gonna say, and like, I was also gonna say, like, this is for any kind of game to run. You usually
Yeah.
talk to your players about it and stuff. Like, I agree, it's a good thing to put into your video about this so that you remind people about it. Sure, but I would also say
I would honestly say this is more of a number 0.
Yes. Yeah. Really.
Do you mean to tell me that
Yes,
I can't
clear in
use-
communication. We get it.
that
Done
I
this like a
can't-
billion times.
that I can't use Alabaster Jim, Space Hero, and Smuggler Vigilante Extraordinaire in my Victorian campaign setting?
What? Why would
No,
you
no, you
ever
can't.
not let that happen?
Yeah, no, you can. Time
But
travel.
what about his trusty blaster
Mm.
and his the Thousand Hawk, which can travel 71 sarpex a second?
Yeah,
See,
those
now that-
he left
no,
those at home.
because-
He left those
he
at
left
home.
them at home.
Yeah.
Also, in the time travel, you came back naked. So, it's
Oh,
Terminator time
Yeah,
travel.
it's Terminator
Okay.
time travel. Yeah.
okay. So I guess I also am bald.
Yes. No.
All right.
Sorry. No. They keep their hair.
Yeah, no, they keep their
Yeah,
hair.
yeah. Just the whole thing about the time travel is, anything non-living is not like brought back with you, but
Yep.
hair is not living. So
It's
the
not?
hair should. Yeah, no, like the colored hair that you have outside of your head, those are dead skin cells. Your roots are alive.
Oh. Okay.
So he would slowly grow hair over the course of the movie.
Gotcha.
But
yeah,
yeah,
you're right. Okay. Weird.
Keep it to a paragraph or shorter. Now, some GMs might also prefer to give a rating like PG-13 or R as well, and that can really help. Or you can mention a specific book or movie that matches the tone you're going for that your players might know of. Some people might find one of these RPG consent checklists helpful.
What
If
the
you wanna be
fuck? Okay.
Oh god, one of these fucking things.
Okay, I get it. If you have never talked to these people ever, then yes, that's probably helpful. But I don't know. I feel like if you're talking to your friends, you know what they're into and not
You know what
into.
they're about.
just put up a leaflet on the LFG board at your local gaming store.
Yeah.
Because if you literally have to hand out checklists, I'm assuming this is a place where paper communication is effective at communicating with strangers.
Right.
Yeah.
And just say my game will include this.
Yes, exactly. And then people will come to it or they won't. Like,
Yeah.
extra caution with that, and I'll put a link down in the video description to this one from Monty Cook. But if you already know your group and have played together, watched movies together, etc., you'll probably be okay without that.
Oh my god! Before we fucking forget, hey, Boo.
Yeah.
At some point, we want to do a movie night where we watch Dracula Untold. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh, it's fucking bad. Oh, good.
It's fucking bad.
Oh, it's not good. It is not a good movie.
Okay, where the hell did this come from?
We were talking about vampire, and we literally talked
So
about Dracula.
Yeah, I started saying that there was a series called Dracula, which was on Netflix. And he's like, "Oh, are you talking about Dracula Untold?" And I'm like, "I don't know," because part of like episode 1 of the series was some of the untold things about Dracula. And then like he starts describing like an army that blindfolds itself to fight him, and I'm like, "Oh no, that's new."
That's the thing. It's so dumb.
Why?
Oh, it doesn't make any. It's because if they don't see him, they can't fear him. That's literally it, and it's so fucking dumb.
I would be far more afraid of like an owl stabbing me in the back.
I know, it's so stupid. Anyway, so okay, you're on board. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. At some point, we'll do that.
One of these nights when Brogan flakes on D&D again, we can
right.
we
Yeah.
can watch it.
True.
Yeah.
Another option would just be to ask them, hey guys, I'm thinking of running a pretty dark horror game. Are there any phobias or triggers I should be made aware of? For
So
most
that
groups,
I
that's
can
probably going to
target
be
them.
enough.
Yeah.
Now that we've talked about the importance of clear communication when running a horror game, let's move on to the real heart of creating a frightening experience for your players.
Please.
First up, mystery, a strong sense of the unknown.
Yes.
H.P. Lovecraft
The
once
oldest
said,
emotion.
the oldest and strongest emotion of
is
mankind
fear.
is fear. And the oldest
Fear
and
of the
strongest kind
unknown.
of fear is fear of the unknown. So
Wow.
maintaining a strong sense of mystery takes patience and
Never
building
heard that
slowly.
before.
Hey. All right. Come on. Yes.
every single goddamn video
Yeah.
that talks about how to spook your players
Yeah,
It's always
always
that.
uses the exact same quote.
I
Every
know.
game Kickstarter uses it. It's a good quote, and
It's a
I'm
good quote.
sick of it.
It's like fucking.
I know.
Why so serious?
Yeah, I know.
Oh
I get that. I get it. I do. It just I'm not gonna fault it for being used.
Why?
You know?
Why do people have to use it such to the point where they take something I love and they make me hate it? And then
See-
every time I see it, reminds me how much I used to love it.
See, I've only looked at like 3 different things, this included, that have said it to me and that I can remember off the top of my head. I've probably seen it in more, but I just don't care enough to register that they do it every time. Because, like, yeah, it's a good quote, but I'm not gonna let it ruin it. You know?
But in the
fucking
D&D
originality.
game, you also might want to pepper in some action to keep your players engaged. It really depends on your group's tolerance for that slow build, exploring, role-playing, solving the mystery. That could be another thing to include in your elevator pitch, in fact. Maybe you inform your players that this is going to be a low combat game, more about solving a mystery. So getting back to the unknown, rather than seeing things for what they are, you need to show the players little things that they can observe that are just a little bit off. The key here is be descriptive and use the senses. A metallic smell of blood in the air. They hear a distant creak of a floorboard or a banging on the wall. Use these things to build tension rather than just showing your players a frightening monster or scene. In general, that's going to be far less effective. Perhaps the players don't even know what the monster is, but even if they do, you can maintain some unknown. How powerful is this being really? Everyone seems really scared of them. What can they do? One of the best examples of this I ever experienced was in the Provoker's
Strahd is a fantastic example of it. An entire village that lives in fear of him, and you don't even encounter him through most of the module.
And hell, you can literally just go hang out with him. Or at least, did they take that out of Curse of Strahd? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Okay, cool. Because when we did it for Expedition to Castle Ravenloft, one of the things is, the players can literally just go have dinner with him, which you guys did. I remember.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's just like, hey guys, and he tries to like convince you that he's cool. Basically, he's just like, hey man, so you're in my lands, and hey, there's like a werewolf problem. Could you like fix that shit? Yeah, it's cool.
I'm the local lord here, and would be real grateful if you adventurers would go take care of that.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you're here. Welcome.
Yep, exactly. So, anyway.
Bleak Wrath, Session 6. I'll put a link right up at the top there. It was not a horror session at all, but my DM, Matt Click, did such a good job of instilling in us a sense of fear and dread upon the arrival of a new NPC. It was our introduction to the villain of the campaign. He didn't really look that frightening. He was an elf of Haldrathine. He had purple eyes and a gruesome scar on his neck. So yeah, a little creepy. He arrived on a drake with a silent companion and wanted to talk peace. But there was such a palpable sense of dread at his arrival just because of how the other NPCs reacted. And also from what we had heard from other NPCs about these elves in previous sessions.
Cool.
So there was some buildup over time. He was really polite and almost warm at times. And still, we could tell his intentions were not right. There was so much tension, and my fear of this NPC led to, hands down, the toughest moral dilemma I've ever experienced in an RPG. It was all masterfully done. So build that tension. Use your other NPCs to reflect fear to your players, and be subtle about it. Let the atmosphere feel heavy with slow but vivid descriptions.
I wish there was more that I could comment on, because, like,
it's all pretty solid so far.
I agree with everything.
I will say I did run an arc of my campaign that was more horror based, as well as a mini boss while they were traveling.
Yeah.
And one of the tools that I find invaluable in my arsenal is I tend to be like, when I describe things, I always make sure to describe things. I do sort of a mental checklist of like, describe the floor, describe the walls, and then describe up above. If like they're outside, like describe the dirt road, the smell of the trail and the grass, and then like the sky up above, the trees, what kind of like birch, cedar, whatever.
Yep.
And one of the things I do is, because I, no matter what the tone of the arc is I make sure to describe the environment. Whenever I start throwing in some horror aspects, or like some boss that's like stalking them outside of their knowledge, is I will throw in occasional little details that just are off.
Yes.
So there was one arc, it was the horror arc, wherein I was bombarding my players with ill omens. Including one of them had a dream of seeing a large like wolf up on a hill, and the wolf howling, but the wolf doesn't like raise its head to howl. It instead like lowered its head and then howled that way.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
Which is an omen of death.
Oh, okay.
Having like a weird ticking of a bug called a Death Watch beetle, keeping the party up until like they found it and took care of it. And it was just because the inn itself is like very old and decrepit and like creaky and stuff like that. So it makes sense until like, that's weird. Why is it always tapping in triplicate? And like, that's
something notable. Yeah.
Yeah. Why is the name of the inn the Shining Opal? And it's like, because Opal used to have this myth of if it was around, it could trap souls.
Oh. Didn't know that.
Like, why are these people arguing about like this weird evergreen tree which has mysteriously died all of a sudden? And then like over time you start realizing, oh, there's a bunch of like these weird circumstances that are occurring that aren't natural.
Right. Yeah.
And then like players start wondering, okay, like what's going on? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, you get their brains going. Get them imagining shit, and then they're like,
a forest that had been taken over by an ettercap with a bunch of spiders. They saw, of course, like regular spiders and like some larger spiders.
Right. Yeah.
And then like, weirdly enough, a ruby that was hung on a spider string. And then they're like, that's not natural. And of course, like, they fucking took the ruby, and I'm like, yeah, sure, add the ruby to your character sheet, I guess, but now the ettercap and everything nearby knows where you are.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So, like,
it's just...
3 big spiders attack, and they keep on traveling, and it's like, oh, well, that was it, just like 3 spiders for a ruby? Cool. And I'm like, well, no, because now the boss is fucking stalking you.
Yeah, exactly.
They'd occasionally like hear a footfall or like a twig snap, and then after a while they're just like, it's a forest, twigs snap all the time, and I'm like, sure.
That's what you think.
That worked real well until the ettercap drops down, wraps a garrote around someone, and starts dragging them back the way they came, away from the party.
Yep, exactly.
Jesus.
Let the grotesque and strange things slowly get more grotesque and strange over time. And in addition to building the tension, break it sometimes. There was a moment in the banquet hall with this newly introduced villain, Iskandar, where he started marveling about the cheese being served with one of the other players. I don't know for sure, but I think maybe Matt and Tim could probably sense that we needed a bit of comic relief. There it was, a moment to talk about how delightfully mild and herby this strange cheese was, struggling to find just the right words to describe it before we got back to the gravity of the situation we were in. Another way to break the tension in a horror game is a cheap jump scare. They get a bad rap, but in a really slow build sort of horror game, they can be a great way to relieve the tension. A bat flies into the face of the cleric, and the fighter smashes it with his shield, and bloody nose ensues.
Okay, so jump scares, yes, they can relieve tension by creating that moment of release. but I would argue a little bit that it's harder to do a jump scare in this kind of a game because, like, unless I literally physically jump at you, I don't think I can describe it in such a way that will make you just jump. And that might be on my end, right? Like, I don't know if somebody else could do it. They probably could. But, like, without, like, raising my voice for a second, you know, like, do it. Yeah. Like, I don't...
Without trying to startle them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I understand that that's the point, but I also don't think that that's entirely great. Just because I personally don't like jump scares anyway. Yeah. Just because they're cheap, in my opinion, because they're used so much. So, I don't know.
In general, I prefer to use laughs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to make somebody laugh than it is to make... Well, I say that. It's conceivably easier to make somebody laugh than it is to genuinely frighten someone for a second, I would say. Without resorting to slamming the table, raising your voice at a certain time, like all that kind of stuff that just makes somebody kind of angry at you afterwards.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That it leads inexperienced DMs to be like, and as you creep toward the closet and you hear the thumping growing steadily more fervent from inside with what starts off as like a becomes a beating heartbeat, and you open the door and a bat flies out, like that makes it fall more flat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, just like, oh, okay, it's a bat.
It's a bat, right? Yeah, because
like I am mildly less tense.
Right. If you had said and zombie falls out, then I would go, oh, okay, now I'm still kind of tense, I guess, because that's unexpected in a way.
And then you defeat the zombie and you go, okay,
all right,
we're safe for now.
Yes, and that also relieves the tension.
You lull yourself into that nice, beautiful lie.
And then after that, like, then they're all standing around because they're like, whew, all right, we're safe. And then you start describing how the ceiling starts dripping dark fluid.
I was just thinking the same, like, and then something splatters on your shoulder.
Yeah. And it's just like, and they look up, and then there's something else that's there, and it's the actual thing, and it goes after them.
Yeah. It's the chandelier mimic.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Which then you've got
that has
something.
A charge attack as it drops itself from the ceiling.
Yeah, you steal the the living stalactite or whatever.
Yeah,
a roper.
Yeah, no. The one, no, that's just stalagmite usually. Well, not really, but no, the other. Yeah, the one that is literally its only purpose is to fall down, and then it.
Yeah, stalactite.
Yeah. No, but the monster. The monster is like a worm that looks like a stalactite. Yes, the impaler.
It's an impaler.
Yeah, and it's fucking useless afterwards. Huh?
What is it from? D&D?
Yeah, D&D.
Monster Manual. Yep.
Yeah.
It's the juvenile form of a roper.
Yes.
These boys.
Yeah, they're completely useless after they fall. But so you give that to the mimic just so that you can have that little attack there, and then it goes into it. Be neat.
Some laughing. Or maybe a lone goblin jumps out and startles the players in a tense moment and quickly drops his sword and runs away in fear of the well-armed party. So build that tension up and then be willing to break it at times. If you have a group that just naturally kind of jokes around at the table, you probably don't even need to plan it. It's definitely just going to happen. And some groups are going to have a really hard time running a scary horror game just because of that. But it might be something you want to communicate with them, that you do want to go for a more serious tone if you do. Now, what about coming up with a good plot for a scary session? I definitely recommend taking some inspiration from your favorite works of fiction and horror, but don't make them too spot on. Twist things and change the setting and the plot just enough that they won't be recognizable. Another really solid idea is to draw from an actual nightmare or recurring fear that you had as a child, or a true story of something.
That's what I do, because I have a lot of nightmares.
Oh.
I have a lot of nightmares.
Wow. Okay.
So, and as such, a fair amount of the creatures that I've thrown at people in my campaign have been actual nightmare creatures of mine.
Oh.
So whenever I throw something weird and off the wall of this like weird shape shifting like bear thing or something,
Yeah.
that like literally the barbarian's like, "Is this another one of your fucked up nightmares?" And I'm like, "Maybe."
I don't know. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Happen to you. You probably want to avoid real personal trauma, as you want this to be a fun game with your friends, not something that hurts your mental health. Obviously, when we talk about inspiration, it's also great to talk about
I was gonna fun games with my friends do hurt my mental health.
Oof.
Sometimes I come up with a cool boss encounter and then they jib it, and then I come up with another cool boss encounter and then they jib that too.
Yeah, sucks, doesn't it?
Pre-written adventures and other RPG books that can help you with this. Things like this book right here, Curse of Strahd, which is set in Ravenloft, the original horror setting for D&D. It's not a short campaign, but it's a really great book, and it's really trying to rekindle some of the magic of the original Ravenloft module. So definitely check out Curse of Strahd if you're going for a dark, gothic horror theme. Another one I've got right back here, whoop, knocking things over. This is Shadows Over Driftchapel, and this one is such a cool book. This is 5th edition compatible. It's kind of Lovecraftian flavor, fantasy horror with strange creatures, flintlock rifles. It's set in the world of Gloam. Also, it's an adventure kit, so it's very customizable. It's not just kind of a linear adventure module. So definitely recommend you check out Shadows Over Driftchapel. Also, a bit of art in here from yours truly, so that's kind of cool.
Oh shit, he has art in there that he made. Neat.
Oh, cool.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's sick as hell.
I mean, yeah, fucking promote
so
that.
that's the only reason why he's recommending it.
Yeah, right. Like, he doesn't believe in the product at all. No, that sounds super cool though. I would actually really want to.
Much like No Nat 1's, he is cheap shill.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
And of course, if you really want to play a scary game, you might want to play a system that is made for that sort of thing.
Yes.
Such as something like Dread. Dread is a game that actually uses a Jenga tower, and it's a pretty rules-like game, really cool, really evocative. Definitely builds that tension as you get closer and closer to knocking the tower over. Neat. And it even comes with some scenarios in the book. So definitely check out Dread. I know that the RPG Fate also has a horror toolset book, so you can check that out. There's the World of Darkness games, of course. And of course, we have Call of Cthulhu 7th edition.
Always.
This one is so incredibly well done. Chaosium really nailed it, and they even have a free quick start rules that you can download. I'll put a link down below. It's got a scenario included called The Haunting. So anyway, Call of Cthulhu 7th edition has been incredibly well received and critically acclaimed. I actually haven't played it myself yet, but it is very near the top of my list for games I must play. I have played a bit of Tales from the Loop, and I also know about the newer game called Things from the Flood, and I think these systems work really well for horror games because they're about solving mysteries, and the mechanics are a lot less focused on combat and more on exploration and problem solving, which I think really fits well with a horror.
Okay, that sounds cool. This was half of the reason why I wanted to do this, because I wanted to first talk about Vampire and actually introduce that to people that might not know it, like Aiden. Oh! Boo! Oh, his internet must have died. He's completely gone.
Yep.
Oh, shit. Okay. What was it?
Guess I'm sticking around for the whole thing.
Yeah, well, it might not go that much longer, honestly. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I wanted to use this as a opportunity to introduce people to something like Vampire that they might not have known of, like you, which I really honestly didn't expect. And then there's these things from the Flood and Tales from the Loop or of the Loop or whatever. Like that's cool. I wanna look into this now, because having more, give me more to look at that I want to play, you know. And I hope other people also get inspired.
Game. There are tons more out there that are well suited to scary games, so definitely leave your suggestions down in the comments below. Now let's talk about the actual environment of your game space. You want to set the mood when you're running one of these games, so definitely plan on some lower lighting. Maybe turn off your bright overhead lights and turn on some dim lamps. You could even light a few candles. And
yeah, I was gonna say, like, the amount of environmental setting that I have done was using Sword Coast soundscapes. Like, that's what I did in order to have those audio needs met.
Dude, alright, so I've started listening to Sword Coast Soundscapes hardcore over the past like month or so.
Yeah.
Simply because like when I am doing work, I like to listen to things.
Yeah, fair.
And I like listening to A Spooky Castle or Rain Over the Marshes. And now because of that, a good portion of my YouTube recommended feed is Sword Coast Soundscapes and Guild of Ambiance.
Nice. There you go.
I'm like not complaining.
And for me personally, I often use these LED light strips that I bought, and they're really great in games. They're very versatile. When my players communed with the spirit recently, I hit the lights and turned on a dim blue behind my DM screen. I think it worked pretty well. So these things are cheap, they're flexible, you can change the color, the brightness. They just have a lot of different uses, so I definitely recommend getting some. Link down below. You could also get a fog machine. I've never actually done it myself before, but you can get them for like 50 to 100 bucks, I think. And I just think it would be really cool. I've seen people do it before, and it kind of sends this mist covering the whole table. And
if you do it right, or you just get it all in your face and you go every 2 seconds. But, you know, your mileage may vary.
When you combine it with some lights, you're definitely going to get a cool, spooky effect. In addition to lighting, think about sound effects. I recommend probably not getting too heavy on the music for a horror game, but I have found tons of ambient spooky sound, like YouTube videos with howling winds, crackling fires. There's lots of RPG soundboards as well, which are a little more official. They have a lot of that cool spooky stuff built in, things like Sirenscape, tabletop audio, battle bards, to name just a few. There's a bunch of them. So there's a lot more we could say about running horror, but hopefully you found this helpful. Above all, I think that fear of the unknown is huge. I think that's the pillar of a good horror story. Don't show your players too much. Keep them guessing, and in the end, perhaps you even subvert their expectations a little bit. We all love a good twist. If you have any other good thoughts or suggestions for frightening your players, definitely leave those down in the comments below. I want to hear your ideas, and I want to thank my patrons so much.
Okay. So he said there was more to say about it, but I honestly don't know what else could be said at this point, you know? He seems to have covered most everything.
I would just add as a general recommendation to DMs looking to establish more of a horror-esque theme. If you're in like say a haunted mansion, a fantastic thing to do is ostensibly your prey, so to speak, if you're playing something like D&D, is ghosts, which come in many different varieties. I would recommend, hold on, let me get, there is a book I got from Nord Games, Ultimate Bestiary, The Dreaded Accursed for 5e.
Yes, yeah.
Is a fantastic resource. They have a whole different chapters for, let me see here, ghosts, ghouls and ghasts, liches, lycanthropes, mongrel folk, mummies, revenants, shadows, skeletons, specters, vampires, wights, will-o-wisps, wraiths, and zombies. Giving each of them a bit more flavor. Never underestimate the power of a good ambush. Ostensibly, if you're going to be traveling through like a haunted mansion, which is populated with ghosts, or a spiderweb draped forest covered with spiders and an ettercap or two, or like a hellish dreamscape populated by Daedra.
Ooh, yeah.
These people know their layers a lot better than you do.
Oh, absolutely.
And as such, like, an ambush is a fantastic thing to use, especially if the party is rounding every corner going, "Is something going to be there?" And then they see, like, a foot of something, like, receding past their vision. And then they're like, "Oh, okay, there's things here," like, they know where we are. Of course, don't use an ambush for every single encounter
God, no.
because then that gets stale.
Yeah.
But like I would say more ambushes than not.
Mm-hmm. I would actually say there's an act not an act, a art to it in a sense, because
Yes.
there is some, I would say that sometimes if you do that kind of like, oh, the foot, they see the foot of the creature as it's running into the mists and you can't see it any further, they might just like give chase or try to use like, I don't know, magic missile in that sense to be like, immediately I'm going to try to hit it, right? It might not entirely, work out every time, but
know your players.
Yeah, in that case though, you can obviously make it so that maybe that was the ploy of like, if you know your players are going to do that, that was the ploy that gets them to start using stuff on that thing, and then they get attacked from behind,
Yeah, exactly. They rush forward and then like fall into a trap, or things spring out at them from the sides.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah, I think that's going to be it, because that's what I had for the docket today. So unfortunately,
enjoy your spooky month.
Yes,
ladies and gents.
Please
I
do.
know I will.
We will be enjoying it, and unfortunately, Boo was only here for like a few minutes, but
yeah, Bill says he's offline.
Yeah, he's obviously here in spirit. He sees a ghost.
Spoopy.
So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it, all of you who continue to follow and subscribe and all of the things. Please continue to do so and get us out there so we can reach more people's ears and eyes. And all the links are in the description. And hearts. And all the links are in the description. You can catch the podcast on Fridays on our YouTube channel first at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and again at 12 p.m. or around there Eastern Standard Time on Mondays. And then we have Devils and Dice on Wednesdays when we have played it, because we haven't had a couple of sessions for a while, but we're going to be getting back to that hopefully this week.
Aiming for this week.
Yes, hopefully.
Oh, by the way, how are the arms?
I'm better now. They're not as bad as they were. For those of you who don't know, I found out that I'm allergic to pokeweed, and it took over a week, and it's still taking time to heal my arms. So, yeah.
I request a picture of your arms at their worst.
I don't think I took a picture. I took a picture of my arms wrapped up in gauze.
That'll suffice.
Okay, cool. I looked kind of like a mummy. But yeah, so that's it. So thank you again, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So spooky.